Hello, you guys. I'm gonna wait and let y'all get the opportunity to start coming into the room. I'm gonna let you guys get the opportunity to start coming in. Let me see who is in the comments. Hey, Miss Nelly. I'm gonna give them the opportunity to start sending out the notifications. Well, thank you guys. I mean, I'm getting emails. I'm getting messages that she is in cahoots with Ona, and I've sent them to the investigator. It's a darn shame that a woman, but that means she was hating all the time. And they said she talking about cry me a river. Bitch, I ain't crying. I'm doing straight strategy on y'all ass. But it's sad. This is what I talk about this is what I mean when I talk about other women. So now she's saying that I'm involved in a murder case. So but that's what's expected of her though. Girl, another vlogger is accusing me and my best friend of being involved with helping Black youngster. And so some people been sending me messages saying that she and Onan are working together. So I went and retained a lawyer, and thank you guys I made copies of the videos, accusing me of being involved in an investigation. She's never heard me say I've ever had a relationship with Black youngster because I've never met him. So I don't know what she talking about. That how can I say it's slander when I said it myself? I've never said that I've worked with Black youngster or had a relationship with him. I have a relationship with his cousin. So I've sent all of that up. I see now who is behind this with her. It's a darn shame. As long as I've been on here, I've never allowed a man, but you got to be hating anyways. You was already a hater, to even let somebody send you out to defame somebody that had not even done anything to you. I definitely have a paper trail. Now I'm seeing all the people who was involved in this stuff. It's sad, but talking about cry me a river, bitch. You think you gonna make me cry? Do you think you going to? But I'm probably gonna make you cry in the end. You letting an obsessed motherfucker, but you can't. You wouldn't do it unless you was already hating on me. Can't nobody put somebody up to put that type of stuff out on somebody unless they was already a hater. So, I ain't worried about her. I guess they feel like, it's just the obsession is sad. And when people are obsessed with you, it's no telling what triggers the obsession. Yeah, just giving me props the other day and get with this motherfucker who obsessed with me, who already I got paperwork on. Onan don't know nothing about me. He's had people to hack me and everything else, and I want him to send me a cease and desist. Please, that's just the pleasure I need because we need to be in court. Okay? But that's neither here nor there. It's definitely defamation and slander. This lady off of her rockers, but she been a hater the whole time. If you notice, she has done this to everybody. So I'm just under the I think she's being paid. They able to give her a little change, buy her some weed or something. I'm getting her for defamation of character. I just came back from the lawyer's office. For her to sit up and talk about how can you something you said, she ain't never in her life ever heard me say that I had a relationship with Black youngster. Never. Because I ain't never met him. She ain't got nothing like that. She ain't heard me. She better have that ready for court. If she say I said I had a relationship with Black youngster, that bitch better have that ready for court. Okay? Yeah, she on payroll to just and then you see she said, "Oh, justice come." Oh, how can she? That's a evil, low down, miserable, hating ass bitch. When them motherfuckers had her in the hospital, I wonder if that was a play. I had initially said the Mo 3 sector, but somebody sent me a message and said the Mo 3 sector don't claim her or mess with her. Teresa says she going after True and AK-47 and Onan is against both of them. Somebody sent me something where she said her Onan has a mutual understanding. So I sent it to the investigation to let the investigator know that I believe that he is behind this lady attacking me. He has yet again got another woman to try and attack me, and bitch, it ain't gonna be no crime. He sent somebody to my house. He sent a girl to my job. I mean, to my office, and now he's sending this simp out to mess with me on here. And because she was already slick hating, she did it. It was definitely right on time. Whew, child, I'm just happy. You know what? I'm not even getting ready to say nothing else about it. Let her keep putting out the videos. We keep downloading them. I guess the gang gonna pay for her attorney's fees, but I doubt it. Me and Vanessa the best of friends. Me and Vanessa been best friends since I was in the kindergarten. She was in the 3rd grade. I was in the kindergarten. We grew up in Clementine together. She said, I want to fight. It's all good, y'all. We expect this from her, though. Like I said, she was slick hating the whole time. But people have been sending me messages letting me know who was behind this with her. So they came to a mutual agreement that they was going to attack me. And so now he has pulled her into the shit. I ain't never seen a person so obsessed with somebody. They're going to have to do something to him. They're going to have to arrest him or do something because this man is sadistically obsessed and sick as it relates to me. I guess she's talking about Player Cole and Cypress. They grew up in North Memphis, so I mean they deal with them CMG folks. I ain't mad at them because they grew up in South Memphis and they grew up around God in them. They said that they CMG, so I mean she ain't saying nothing that ain't nobody tuned in and heard. What did she talk about? Hasn't Player Cole and Cypress always said they were CMG? They grew up in North Memphis. So you're right, they are. They said that they were. Okay. So she right. Cypress and Player Cole has said that they CMG. They grew up in North Memphis around God in them. So I mean, I don't know what she talk about. I'm gonna tell you something about me. I'm a real one for real. Okay. You know why? Because if I had a relationship with Black Youngster, I would say it. I would say, look, hey, I got a relationship with him. So I guess what they trying to do is he's using her to try to do to me what they've done to the cookie shop. I guess that's what they think they're gonna do because of his obsession. But he got to go to jail because he's already sent somebody to my house to kill me. Right? He sent a girl who I had to put an order of protection on up to my place of business. Okay. And now he got this goddamn simp on here fucking with me. Okay. So I told the investigators something got to be done about him because he's pushing anybody that ain't got no brain out to come at me. Money Mitch, she came at me first. She came at me first because she don't like women. She already didn't like me. You know, I never said anything bad about her, but I could tell from some of her vlogs, she said she didn't like women. She didn't care for women like that. So when I know women, certain women have issues with women, I kind of stay away from that. She said that. So anything that that these males have done, the only thing about it is they did it to her. She sit up and let a man send her out and his subscribers because of his obsession after what they did to her up on here. And when she said "cry me a river," I already know that's his favorite saying when he used to make them fake pages with his obsession and come into my chat. "Cry me a river, blah, stop the crime." That was him. I told the investigators, I said that the people that sending me the messages, they telling the truth because that's his lingo. It's just that she jealous. She a hating asshole. So it was easy, or else they paid her. Because the truth of the matter is, some of these motherfuckers that talk about Black Youngster is in cahoots with him. I talk more about him than some of these vloggers because him and Lil Migo paying some of them. You don't hear me say nothing about it, but I know it. And they ain't playing Black Youngster and Lil Migo ain't playing player Cole or Cypress. Thank you, nothing for the $10 cash out, but we're gonna move on past that, child. Child, I was feeling sorry for her when they was talking about how Sko did her. And I started watching. I said, well, maybe, they stopped messing with her because she was telling I thought she was actually trying to help me. She had sent me some videos and stuff showing where she had been CC and Countdown John, Ratchet, and Sko and all of them was in the video. So I ended up sending it to investigators. I was like, oh my God, so these are the people that's involved in this stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I came in real peaceful. This lady had been wanting to do this the whole time. She had been wanting to do this the whole time, and she done teamed up with somebody that ain't got no loyalty to nobody. His obsession with me, he teams up with anybody that he could send out to try and come up against me. Because it ain't a damn thing ever been hid. Hell, if I had something going with Black youngsters, Vanessa never would have been on my panel. Vanessa, my motherfucking best friend since the kindergarten. Her mama and my mama talk several times a week. Neil says, I was on the YouTube streets and I heard some people say, but you know what? It's going to backfire on her because they came to some mutual understanding. His obsession with me and her hate for women, it's going to backfire on her. He'll be an turn on her in a few months. And I promise you, she going to get this back. She will. Karma going to hit her in the face. You can't stop me. He's sending everybody that he could send at me with his obsession. Okay. And that's the reason why I told the investigators today, something got to be done about him because he gonna sit behind his motherfucking keyboard and send everybody that he can at me because that's how sick he is. All it takes is a woman that has issues with other women. That's all it takes because he can't nobody. And me and Player Kobe talking outside of here. He can't gas me up to go at no woman on here. I'm not gonna do it. She said, Miss T, if you lose one follower due to her slander and that to your right, you absolutely right. Let me take a you right. I'm glad to let me take a picture. I have already lost 2, but I didn't take a picture of it. But you're right, because that's his goal. Because remember, he said, I want to make sure that she only has a few subscribers. Let me take a picture of it. I mean, it's jealousy, Neo. That's what it is. When you have a man that is continuously obsessed with you, and you can get women that already hate on other women to get involved. That's what it is. And you could tell she got the happiness in her voice. She finally, until she get that cease and desist, she finally did what she had been wanting to do anyways. That lady ain't never liked me. I see that now when folks are saying, you be giving her props. Do you listen to her? She throws shots at you. She don't like you. And then what she'll do is she'll listen to your shit and give somebody else the props. I'm like, it's all good. I ain't got no issues with it because, you know, I'm mentally sane. So I don't feed into a whole lot of stuff. And you're right. I'm going to stop talking about it because I bet he's getting a kick out of it. And she probably is too. So I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to let it we'll just see it play out. But I just took a picture of my subscribers. All that cap. Everything that she put up is cap. I even gave her props about Mo3, talking about Mo3, and folks was coming into my chat saying, Miss T, we rock with you, but she cap. She don't know nothing about Mo3. And see, I didn't know anything about Mo3. I was like, well, I think she's not controlled, you know, because maybe she's, you know, she seemed, they was like, she cap. She don't know nothing about that Mo3 case. But, you know, I didn't listen. Right. That's what I'm about. I'm about supporting people. Even if I don't support somebody, if they've done something to me and I don't support them no more, I don't have nothing bad to say about them. You ain't gonna hear me on here slandering them. I just go on about my business. And I'm gonna tell you something, a hit dog always holler because see, I have people to come into my chat, come into my comments all the time. and I end up, having to block them and stuff because they make fake pages. So people get real, they get real mad when I get on my channel and they hear me going in when I say, well, you ain't even been to Memphis. They feel like I'm talking to them because they ain't been to Memphis. They don't know who I'm responding to because I have all kinds of trolls to come into my comments. I know she talking about me. These folks are mentally ill. When you hear me address something, it's because somebody have gotten in my comments and said something. Okay. Thank you, Carla, for the cash out. But I think that it is a crying shame that women, but she ain't no better though than those women that he was sending out at me before. Right. And I wish I could talk about some of the and I probably can because I've had to go to court for about 3 people that this man has sent out to mess with me. And these people be strong in their convictions based on what this man that is obsessed with me has said, getting themselves in trouble. And she just another one added because I guess he done told her she can't do nothing to you. I went and saw a lawyer today. I'm not gonna play with this lady slandering me. I don't know if she's been paid. I think she got a mental illness like the other girl, just strong in her conviction. And I ain't did nothing to this lady. Okay. Now, if you go look at Vanisa's page, because I guess, they line like, I'm going to have Vanessa to run her credit. Because I guess they done told lies, like, because Vanessa is a damn open book. Vanessa out there in the streets for real. She out in the streets every day. So if she was working a damn shop with her cousin, ain't nowhere in hell she be getting on here saying what she say about him, and they business partners, and he funding her. She be crazy. She be messing up her bread and butter. That's what a simple ass bitch ought to know. But anyways, you guys, hey, y'all just keep sending me the videos and stuff, because he done recruited another one. And trust me when I tell you, it ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna last because God ain't gonna let it last. But they're gonna have to do something with him because he is too obsessed with me. He get any woman that he feel like is jealous of because of his obsession. When I was on live the other day, when I had all of them trolls to come into my chat, I was like, dog, I wonder who went and paid for some trolls to come into my chat. Now I understand who it was. It was him. I filed paperwork after paperwork on him. I sent those videos to him. I'm letting them know that he done recruited somebody else. I went and saw a lawyer today because he trying to get somebody else to slander me. Okay. Yeah, they was trolling. After I got off of that live, they said it was 11,000 and something people that had came there. Them trolls were coming in left and right. And you know how I know they was trolls? Because when people was coming in, when them trolls was coming into the chat when I was on live the other day, I saw one of them say, y'all, I'm here, but I don't know what I'm here for. Who is she? He started saying something to one of the other trolls that was gone crazy troll. He said, so what are we supposed to do? What am I here for? But anyways, y'all gonna see that little thing that they bringing together because the man he sent to my house, they gonna get him. I've already had to put restraining orders on other people because of things that he's done. Now he got her coming, and she's happy to do it because she was slick hating on me anyways. I know, Gigi. It's sad. It is. It's sad. Nobody in their right mind believes. She said the same thing about Mia J. That Mia J was a part of taking Dolph out. She said that Dolph's mama and daddy had something to do with what happened to him because they wanted his money. She said that Dolph's daughter hair be nappy and stuff all the time. She said that Dolph's son didn't even look nothing like him. The kids, she didn't never keep the kids clean or nothing like that. But she's sitting up talking about she for Dolph. And I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. People was mad at me talking about, why you mentioning her? Why you giving her props? Do you hear what she said about Dolph's kids? But y'all see what I was talking about, like the video that I did earlier. I promise you, I kid you not, Friday, I was doing something. This is how I know God always is around me. And I was doing something. I was like, dog, I need to go back and retain Daryl. I need to go back and retain my lawyer. And it came to my mind, and I started doing something else. And now I understand. That's the reason why when this happened, I said, God, you put that in my mind on Friday. I'm going today. No more procrastination. Because he has recruited some more simps that's got issues with women. Okay. But y'all, let's go on and get into the, you're right, Robert. Let's go on and get into the right, because I've been the one to break the stories on a whole lot of stuff. Nobody on here has everybody on here has always heard me say, I don't say a lot about Black Youngster because I don't know when my friend gonna be in the chat. I let her talk about her cousin. Okay. But I put out videos letting it be known what it is. The same niggas that want to accuse me of being, being in cahoots with Black Youngster is on his payroll. So and Cypress and Player Cole has always said that they rock with CMG because they grew up over there in North Memphis. Anybody outside of Memphis wouldn't even understand that. I ain't mad at nobody that grow up in North Memphis and rock with Juke and Gotti. If that's who they grew up around, that's who they supposed to rock with. You're never in your life ever hear me say I'm throwing away Vanessa. And me and Vanessa has rocked a long way. She been my best friend since I was in the kindergarten and she was in the 3rd grade. She graduated before me. Moved to Las Vegas when I was in high school. She was mailing money home every month to help me pay for my senior dues like a best friend would. A big sister. They got me fucked up. That's my best friend and I rocks with her the long way. Anyway, y'all, let's talk about Fanni. I know they thought they was gonna get me to it ain't this. That's my motherfucking best friend. And I rocks with her the long way. It ain't, I mean, she can't help who she related to. But I rocks with her. That's right, Robert. You're right. Anyways, y'all, I want to talk about Fani Willis, you guys. I want to talk about Fani Willis because and I at first I had put the Mo3 sector in having her to do this. I apologize to them. I see now who it is that's got her doing it. But I want to talk about Fanni Willis, and I want to talk about straight drop still trying to get out of Shelby County, right? And when Fanni Willis, you guys, now y'all know we all rock with Fanni Willis the long way. We all rock with Fanni the long way. And I was so proud. I think we all was of how strong Fanni was in her conviction. And when she was taking down those gang members and stuff, hey, I was like, and she just stood strong. I was like, I like that about Fanni. A lot of people was getting mad at her, and I don't think Fanni paid that any attention. Although she was taking down people, I don't think Fanni was paying it attention, any attention, that when she was getting the spotlight, everybody was saying, Fanni is probably she can go as far as being the governor. And I'm sure that she had ambitions to go far, right? A lot of people were saying that, right? And so a lot of people were saying that. And so when I heard that Fanni had taken on getting Trump indicted, I was like, dog, I wonder, because I know the types of games that they play. I was like, dog, I wonder if they trying to set Fanni up, because we all know that even though the government's funds is unlimited, Trump has unlimited funds. And Georgia is a now Atlanta might be blue, but I think Georgia is a red state, but it's still rednecky. I know that. And so I know it's rednecky. And so anyways, I was like, dog, I hope that they're not setting Fanni up, because if they can get her to go at Trump, a lot of those white people that was rocking with her, that might would have voted for her if she had ran for senator or governor or something like that, they're not gonna vote for her. So I was like, dog, I wish you would have rethought that. I had said that then. I was like, I hope that they are not setting her up. And sure enough, as time went on, things got kind of quiet, it seems like. And then all of a sudden it comes out that she was having a relationship with this young with the guy, and I think they're trying to say that his wife put it out, but I believe that whoever it was that was in Fanni's ear egging her on to take on Trump, they probably already knew about the relationship, and that was their game plan to help to take her down. I think that they had set her up from the beginning because of her popularity and a lot of people loving her popularity going up. She's strong, her stance. She could have gone far, and they wanted to make sure they put a stagnation on her as far as her political career, by having her to go after Trump, right or wrong. It could have been somebody else could have went after him. It says it's a wrap for her. You indicated the man that started the RICO and the former president. Wow. You indicate or indicted. Yeah, I hear her talk about Mia J not taking care of her daughter's hair. I know. Okay. Yeah, Fanni is beautiful. And her popularity, y'all, had gone up a whole lot. Fanni's popularity had gone up so much. And so people were saying that she could be the next governor of Georgia. And so I believe that they concocted a plan, because, folks will get in your ear and give you a pat on the back and say, oh, you need to go after such and such, because they know when you go after that person, you're going to lose a lot of popularity. And then Trump is just as vindictive. So, they're saying that his wife told on their affair. I don't know if his wife told on it, or they hired some private investigators and found out about it, or the people who had her to go after Trump, okay, already knew about it. If they had a relationship, I'm sure folks already, knew about it. Some people anyways, right? So, I don't know if the DA's office, the district attorney's office in Georgia is termed out, but I'm sure Fanni was going to run for something else at some point. I'm sure she was going to run for something else at some point. And Young, I promise you, that's what I promise you. That's what I always said. She allowed them to use her. She allowed them to use her. TB21 says, have Fanni been convicted of the affair? I thought he was separated or divorced when they started. Well, that's what they're saying, that they were separated. He wasn't divorced. I think they were saying that he was separated from his wife and going through a divorce, but he was still married. You know, any attorney, divorce attorney would tell their client, while you're going through this divorce, do not start dating or do not see your girlfriend. Okay, because that could hurt you. Even if the marriage had been over for years, the wife would use it against them. Gigi says, sad Trump trying to go after his tactics, but he's still going to jail. Hope all she get is fine for having a relationship with Trump prosecutors. Nola Girl says, Fanni is not on trial. Young said he's separated. Did they get rid of her? I don't know. I think they were supposed to make a decision today. Let me see, you guys. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I tell you one thing, that man looked more stressed out than Fanni, because his wife probably will take him to the cleaners. Hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on for a second, you guys.
Fulton County at the end of last week. The district attorney there, Fani Willis, giving pretty impassioned defense on Thursday. And then the state decided not to call her. She did not appear on the stand again on Friday. What's your read as to how that went at the end of on Friday, and where things could go next in that case?
Yeah, so through a couple of different prisms, Jonathan, legally, the defendants have to show that there was some improper financial arrangement that makes out a conflict of interest. If the defendants can show a conflict of interest, a financial one, by Ms. Willis hiring Mr. Wade when they had a romantic relationship, and that she somehow benefited from the money that was being paid to him, that could be a conflict. They could be disqualified from the case. That's the legal part. And I don't think the defendants have succeeded yet. I mean, it's messy, it's ugly. If you've watched any of it, you probably have sort of that icky feeling when you see it. But I don't know that they've made out the disqualification grounds yet. Politically, it's a mess, because there's a bunch of things that happened at the hearing that showed sort of it got into personal relationships between Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade. There was some contention about when that relationship started. There was a witness who might have been very important on that fact, but he didn't testify fully because Mr. Wade was invoking a privilege to preclude him from doing that.
Well, briefly, does any of that really matter for the substance of the Georgia case, though?
Maybe. So if the romantic relationship between Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis began before he was hired, by her in Fulton County, then the affidavit that he submitted might be false. And not only would that affidavit be false, Caddy, Ms. Willis propounded that affidavit, provided that affidavit to the court in support of her contention that the relationship started subsequently. By the way, at any point, and I was a prosecutor for a long time, if a supervisor is having a relationship with a subordinate, regardless of when it starts, that's reason for the subordinate or the supervisor to step away from the case. So in some ways, to me, it doesn't really matter when it started, but if it started before she hired him, you might have false affidavits in this case. And that, if I may, Caddy, raises a separate point. Even if the defendants fail to show an actual conflict of interest, and they may very well fail, an appearance of a conflict of an interest is also a problem. And as prosecutors, you have to be sensitive to the appearance. So even if the legal motion fails and the judge doesn't disqualify Ms. Willis or Mr. Wade from the case, you still have an appearance, and that's messy.
It certainly all means that we're talking about this rather than the substance of the Georgia case as well at the moment.
Okay, and that's what I was talking about, y'all. It's messy. It is, because Fani had ambitions of going further. She had ambitions of going further. Hold on one second, you guys.
Attorney Fani Willis.
It's highly offensive when someone lies on you, and it's highly offensive when they try to implicate that you slept with somebody the first day you met with them, and I take exception to it.
Defense lawyers argue District Attorney Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade should be disqualified from the Georgia election case. They also want the case thrown out. Willis charged Trump and 14 co-defendants on racketeering, conspiracy, and other charges. Willis has acknowledged her romantic relationship with Wade. But in a court filing, Willis said she has never financially benefited by hiring Wade to oversee the case.
I don't need anything from a man. A man is not a plan. A man is a companion. And so there was tension always in our relationship, which is why I would give him his money back. I don't need anybody to foot my bills. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
Miss Willis is a very, as am I, we're private people. Not, our relationship wasn't a secret. It was just private.
The defense says Willis benefited from the salary she paid Wade through expensive trips they went on together. They also say their affair began before Wade was hired by Willis and is a conflict of interest.
So what y'all think about that? I think they're going to try to use those technicalities, because if she hired him, then, he was her subordinate, and they probably got something in the clauses. You're not supposed to fraternize, and she was the boss and all of that. But I don't know. I think I'm not mad at her about whatever she had going on in her personal life. I just believe that they set Fani up. I do. I believe they set her up because they knew that she had the zeal, she had the ambition, and she had the notoriety to go further. There had probably been some talks about her running for something else after she left the district attorney's office in Georgia. There was probably talks, around that area about her running, and she was probably going to get it. And what people will do is they will push you out, right, to do stuff that they already know is not going to be conducive to your reputation and all of those things, right? And I think that's exactly what happened. This is what happened. She probably can come back from it, depending on how far they take it. If they're trying to make her look like a home wrecker, okay, so now women that liked her before, right, that has gone through infidelity, husband may have been cheating with somebody on the job, that's going to make her look a certain way in their eyes when it comes to an election, right? It's going to make her look a certain way to those women. Those people in the state of Georgia that may have liked her, right? that was racist, they had her to go after Trump. So it might be hard to get those people to vote for her. You see what I'm talking about? So that's why I say I believe that it was a setup so that they can try and stop her growth. Young says, I hate this for her. I watched the hearing, a room full of snakes. I felt bad for her. I know it. They already know that she was going to go far. Robert says, I don't understand, Miss T. What do you mean they set her up? She made the decision to do what she did, knowing what the outcome could possibly be that was self-inflicted. I don't know, Robert. When I say I believe it was people working behind the scenes that was encouraging her to do it because they knew what the outcome would be. They had plans on this happening. Ashley says, plus people have taken pleas or pleaded guilty already. Yeah, she's a very smart lady, very well spoken. New Diamond says, oh Lord, here we go. TB21 says, she too smart to get set up by dating or having a private relationship with someone in a different department. Okay, so, and then she hired him to work for her, right? So they really trying to twist and turn that. They really setting her up bad. Okay, they really twisting and turning that because what they're saying is she hired him and gave him that job, making that salary so that she could get the money. Y'all see how they're spinning it to really try to make her look bad, to try to get her on some type of technicality. When I'm sure she didn't hire him so that she could benefit from his salary. That's ludicrous. TT Baby One says, I think her friend turned on her too. Shan says Fanni should have left Trump ass alone. They playing dirty. Okay. Nola Girl says if she fails at this, YSL will probably get a mistrial. That's it, Tam. He was a contracted employee. TB21 says, yeah, I agree. They spending it, but she don't need his money. And no, she don't need his money. They wrong for that. She definitely does not need his money at all. At all. Y'all make sure you guys hit the like button for me. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's see. It says bombshell witness. Hold on, let me see. Because let me see if I can pull that up. Hold on, y'all. So did her... Hey, Snoozy Cake. Haven't did anything to jeopardize this case, but this is America. She knows better. Hold on, because they said that there was a bombshell witness. They show his picture, but I can't pull up the video. Okay. Okay, here it is right here. Let me see.
I need it. You said in the affidavit that you roughly shared travel, though, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you.
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
It was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
So she paid you cash for her share of all these vacations.
Mr. Schaefer, you'll step out if you do that again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so all of the vacations that she took, she paid you cash for.
Yes, ma'am.
And you purchased all of these vacations on your business credit card, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you included those in deductions on your taxes, correct?
No, ma'am.
No, you did not.
Now, in an additional hit to Willis and Wade's story, a former Fulton County DA employee and personal friend of Willis since college testified that Willis had definitely been in a relationship with Wade since 2019, which directly contradicts filings in which the pair claimed their relationship began in 2022.
Woof.
Very bad. So we all know that, you know, I paid for this on my credit card, but then I was reimbursed in cash is a very convenient and implausible excuse.
Right. There's two things there. One is it's difficult to trace, so you can't really verify that she did reimburse you. Therefore, it stands that it's possible a corruption scheme. Or two, there's still something nefarious about the idea that you would need to be reimbursed in cash. It seems like not insignificant amounts of money, and it seems
Cash,
very
not
informal.
Venmo, not
exactly. Completely. It's just not. That's not
unmarked,
how people operate.
Unmarked bills.
I can't tell you the last time I even touched a dollar. To be honest with you, so there's that aspect of it. Then being fully caught in a lie by your own friend. Now I'm sure there's going to be more out about the nature of their friendship. Maybe she's a former friend, a fake friend, like friends of mine. I don't care. I would hope they would protect me even if I were lying. So who knows what's going on in that relationship? But you have someone who has knowledge of you intimately, Shelby, who's come forward and said you were dating that man prior to the time that you hired him, in direct contradiction of your previous testimony. Her credibility is completely shot.
It's just clear there's no reason to give them the benefit of the doubt at this point. They're not trustworthy. They're not believable. It seems very clear they had a relationship. I mean, like the most straightforward explanation, Occam's razor, they were dating. She decided to pick him for this job and hired him. And then they went on a bunch of trips that he paid for, using not specifically using these funds, but money is fungible, paid for trips while being her employee, while being in a relationship. That all seems like how, and then she paid him back in cash. I tend to doubt it.
This isn't like a Cori Bush situation where her husband works in security. She hires him as security. Remember, part of the contention here is that he is not qualified. This is not an area of the law that he normally practices. He doesn't know anything about what's going on. I mean, he's a lawyer. He's qualified to do other kind of legal work, but not this specific.
Well, it's not that important of a case. It will only determine whether the potential next president of the United States goes to prison.
Right. I mean, I honestly, I have period interest in this. This is like a wild scandal.
It's like popcorn.
Right. But
so I don't know. They really, they trying to hang Fani out to dry. And I think her name is pronounced Fani instead of Fanny. I don't know. But I think they're trying to hang her out to dry. They really spinning this. And then she's got people that's supposed to be close to her that's helping to hang her out to dry. Did you say even Trump still committed voters fraud? Ashley says, I hope it typo. I had a typo to say she is not, but the guy was still legally married. Yeah, I think he was still legally married. I do. I think he was still legally married. That's probably why she didn't bring it up to her dad. People cheat every day with married people, especially men, and get paid full vacations. Beta says never deal with a married man, period. I agree. TB21 says we need to find out if Wade was legally separated from. I thought that I heard. Okay, that's true, Stringer. I thought that I heard, them say that he was going through a divorce. I thought they said that he was still married, but they were separated. It was going through a divorce or something like that. So technically, he was still legally married. She fired the friend. Of course, the friend is going to hang her out to dry. Oh, so she fired the friend. So this is why the friend started to tell everything. Oh, now I see what's going on. Peter says, yes, he said they were waiting for the kids to go to college. Then he filed. Cecilia says, Ashley, you are right. Wade stayed married until his children were graduating from high school. I'd rather be a side lover than the main. TB21 says, I think that she fired the friend. Hold on, let's see. Because they said that somebody else had a bombshell. They were showing this man. Hold on 1 second.
Insofar as exhibits 15, 16, 17, and 18, there's documents that I recognize and I don't have any objection to those. They clearly came from Fulton County. However, as exhibit number 14 contains several items that did not come apparently from Fulton County, and I'm standing next to Ms. Merchant to show them that they're not in that group. I got them. But I can't agree that the documents that are not in the certified bundle are properly admitted as part of the exhibit.
Okay, Ms. Merchant, would you like to repackage and present to Ms. Cross Defense Exhibit 14?
They're exactly what I got from the county attorney. Apparently, they didn't want to testify, so they gave us a certification, but didn't put these in, so they're going to have to testify. I got them from them.
The documents that the difference between the two document productions, what is the difference?
They didn't read it. Bank records, credit cards.
Hold on, you guys.
Wouldn't ordinarily.
Letter marriage, you see that. But this is an interrogatory that matters, so I would ask the court's indulgence.
Ms. Cross?
These questions have been asked and answered several times. I understand Mr. Gillen is coming at it from a different way, but this question is not substantively different than those that have already been asked and answered in the information that he's seeking.
All right, Mr. Gillen, I'll allow maybe this question and one more, but I think you are asking it in a different way, and I'll ask you to stick to the point.
Right. Now, as of May the 30th, and may I ask the question that okay, thank you, Robert. As of May the 30th, 2023, you had sexual relations with Miss Willis, isn't that correct?
The interrogatory, sir, asks during the course of the marriage and the period of separation.
Excuse me.
My response,
Your Honor, I would ask that the court direct the witness to answer my question, yes or no. As of May the 30th, 2023, had you had sexual relations with Miss Willis? Yes,
Mr. Gillen, let's start with at the higher level whether he believes he answered it truthfully, and then we can drill down into why or why not he doesn't, and maybe we'll end up exactly where you left us.
Well, but again, Your Honor, the point of it is that the words matter, and that we have to establish what did and did not happen, and then he can give whatever explanation he chooses to what apparently is a false answer. But I would like an answer to my question.
And you may get one. I would like us to start at the high level before we drill down into specifics to see whether he actually contradicted that interrogatory, if I'm making sense.
Well, the interrogatory is relatively direct and explicit. Sexual relationships with a person other than your spouse during the course of the marriage, including the period of separation. That's pretty simple.
Sure. Let's see if that's something you can get him to admit.
You did have sexual relationships with someone other than your spouse during the course of the marriage and during the period of separation, which included up to May the 30th of 2023. Isn't that correct, sir?
My answer to this interrogatory is none. Is no.
So you're saying that you did not have sexual relationships with anyone outside of your marriage, and the period of separation is during the period. Then you're answering the question to this interrogatory, correct, sir?
I'm saying during the course of my marriage, I did not have sexual relations to anyone, and this answer is no.
Well, again, Your Honor,
I understand. You can proceed, Mr. Gillen.
We need a yes or no. Let's just get down to it. Did you or did you not, by May the 30th, 2023, have had sexual relations with Miss Willis, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what you did is you answered no to that question, didn't you, or none, correct?
I didn't answer no to the question you just asked. I answered no to the interrogatory question.
And the interrogatory stands that you answered as a pleading in a civil proceeding, your divorce case, right?
Yes.
Now, excuse me. The next interrogatory, let's move there. That interrogatory states as follows: identify any and all occasions in which you entertain a member of the opposite sex other than your spouse who is not related to you by blood or marriage. You see that?
I do.
Now, there are two parts to this. The second part is, I read on, or in which a member of the opposite sex other than your spouse, not related to you by blood or marriage, entertained you. And then it goes on to say, including but not limited to dining, drinking, in restaurants, bars, pubs, hotels. You see that, correct?
I do.
Now, as of May the 30th, 2023, when you filed this interrogatory, you had in fact entertained Miss Willis on many occasions, had you not?
Again, during the course of the marriage was irretrievably broken in 2015.
Well,
The answer's still no.
Let's read what the interrogatory says about the time period required to answer the interrogatory. Because what
He trying to trick him up.
It goes on to say, including but not limited to dining and or drinking at any restaurants, bars, pubs, hotels, or persons' homes from the date of marriage to the present. You understand what the word present means?
I do.
And present means
Y'all think he trying to set Fanni up too? The boyfriend.
Isn't that right?
It is.
So as of May the 30th, 2023, you had done a lot of entertaining of Miss Willis, had you not?
I had done some, yes.
And in fact, under your testimony, you would have said that she had also entertained you. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
And so your answer to this interrogatory is false, is it not, sir?
No, it's not false.
Well, hate to dance around the answer is yes, you did entertain Miss Willis, correct? Right?
Yes.
She's not your spouse at that time or any time, correct?
That's correct.
She's not related to you by blood or marriage, correct?
That's correct.
But you entertained her, right?
Yes.
And during the course from your marriage, the period of time up to the present, so the answer would have been, yes, I did entertain somebody, correct?
During the course of the marriage, no.
Mr. Wade.
Mr. Gillen, I think we've made our point. I think it speaks for itself, and we can save that for argument.
And then I'll just follow up with one quick question. Do you understand what the word present means?
Your Honor, that's an estimate.
I think we did cover that already as well.
Okay. Now, what has happened from the time that you filed this court document in May of 2023.
Yeah, he is an attorney.
Let's go over some of the things.
So he can't trick him up too bad because he know what he's doing.
In terms of being entertained or entertaining. Prior to your filing on the answer on the interrogatories on May the 30th, 2023, we've already established, have we not, that you had paid for a Royal Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas with Miss Willis, correct?
Yes, sir, with Miss Willis and my mother.
Well, your mother's not part of this interrogatory. I'm talking about Miss Willis, okay? So you paid and caused to be paid approximately $3,335 on that trip, Bahamas trip, from October the 28th through October the 31st, correct?
Your Honor, objection. I think we've checked this ground several times already.
Mr. Gillen, let's cover new ground.
Well, I'm just trying to establish with specificity the things that he had done to entertain or be entertained prior to May the 30th, 2023. I'll try to move through it quickly.
Sure. Well, that's already part of the record in terms of his prior testimony. And so if you want to link those two things together, you can do that during argument.
Well, so let me discuss this. You indicated that during the course of your explanation.
Yes, real
concerning the
talk with
police trip
Tamra at gmail.com.
Miss Willis, that Miss Willis paid you all that money back in cash, remember?
Yes, sir.
Now, the police trip had just happened, hadn't it? That occurred in March 18th, 2023, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're filing this maybe 2 months after you have gone to police with Miss Willis, correct?
Again, I believe all of this is.
I think you might be getting somewhere new. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
So we've got the trip in to police on March the 18th, 2023. You and Miss Willis, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, 2 months later, you file the interrogatories that speak for themselves that we've gone over a few minutes ago, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, the March the 18th, 2023, to state the obvious, is before May the 30th, 2023. Will you agree with me on that?
I do.
Okay. So then you tell us that Miss Willis paid you in cash all the money for the entire trip. It was a gift for you for your birthday, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure you probably have the deposit slips where you took the cash and deposited the cash into your account, don't you?
I did not deposit the cash in my account.
You don't have a single solitary deposit slip to corroborate or support any of your allegations that you were paid by Mrs. Willis in cash, do you?
No, sir.
Not a single solitary one.
Not a one.
Now, when Miss Willis would pay you in cash, would you scamper down to the ATM with her and as she drew money out of her account to pay you these thousands of dollars?
Mr. Gillen might scamper, but there's been no evidence that Mr. Wade does. I object to the phrasing, the argumentative nature of the question.
All right. On that issue, overruled.
Did you and Miss Wade scamper down to the ATM machine and have her dry out? For example, on the police trip, just on your payment would have been $2,794.
Miss Wade,
For clarity, yeah. Thank you.
Pardon me?
Miss Wade and I didn't go to police.
No, excuse me, Miss Willis. I'm sorry. Did you go down to the ATM with Miss Willis while she drew out $2,794 to pay you in cash? That you did you go to the ATM with her?
No, sir. She didn't go to the ATM. She carried the cash.
Oh, and so she would give you the cash. Did you have a little place in your house where you just stack up all this cash that you apparently got to repay you for these benefits that you bestowed on her?
Mr. Gillen, if I answered that, I'm putting myself in jeopardy. If I tell the world that I have cash someplace in my home, don't you think that could be problematic?
No, I don't. I want an answer as to whether or not you have a little cash hoard in your house where you have allegedly taken the money that you got
That
from
defense
Mrs.
attorney
Willis
funny.
and went and put it somewhere. Where'd you put it?
No, sir.
Or that civil
Now,
attorney or
just put it on
whatever.
the hip and kind of walk around money?
Did I put it on my hip and
Yeah, just walking around money where you would spend cash yourself?
let me finish. Did I put it on my hip in Belize and walk around with
No,
it?
when you got paid back, would you take the money, the cash that she gave you, and would you just carry it around with you for spending money around town?
So we have to break down each trip because, for example, for the cruise, she paid me the money before we took the cruise. So I was here and I could put the money in my pocket or put it away wherever I wanted to do with it. Other trips, she would give me the money there. So at that point, I could either spend it or put it in my pocket or put it in the hotel safe.
There's no special place that you would have all this cash that you would be getting from her that you've told us about to pay back for the benefits that you have bestowed on her.
The only special place that cash would have gone would have been to one of my children.
Okay. Now, are you aware, have you discussed these pleadings with Miss Willis?
No, sir.
So there's been no discussion between you and Ms. Willis about the allegation concerning the benefits that you have bestowed on her. Is that correct?
The phrasing, the benefits that we serve upon, I don't believe that's an accurate reflection of the testimony, and I don't think that's appropriate.
I think overruled. You can answer the question.
Okay. When you say
Okay,
proceedings,
Kelly.
are you talking about the divorce proceedings? Because we were talking about the interrogatories. To that question, the answer is no. If you're at, go ahead.
I'm sorry. go ahead with your answer. I'll hear the complete answer, then I'll follow up.
Okay. If you're asking me about this hearing, the proceedings of this hearing, have we discussed the financial piece based upon Mr. Roman's motion? Yes.
So you have discussed the financial piece. Where did that discussion take place?
Conference room.
Were you other people there, or were you and Ms. Willis discussing this about what your position was going to be?
Relevance of this.
Well,
Mr. Gillen?
and the relevance has to do with suddenly we have a declaration from Mr. Wade in this case where he says roughly equal and then shows one alleged payment by Ms. Willis. No mention of cash, none. So I need to find out a little bit more about how suddenly we have this revelation about cash from the witness stand today.
Overruled.
So we part company there when you say no mention of cash. If I provided one receipt that didn't amount to what you would think was roughly equal, the rest of it is cash.
Well, did you in your declaration, sir, it was filed in this case, did you tell the court in that declaration that the expenditure that you had provided on behalf of Ms. Willis was paid for back by
Yeah, you
her
could put
in
pesto
cash,
and
yes or no?
pasta.
I believe that I did when I said that the expenses were split roughly evenly.
If you could point to me any place in your affidavit where you use the word cash, I would appreciate it. Take your time.
I didn't use the word cash. No, sir.
No, you didn't use the word cash, did you?
But I didn't say that she didn't give it to me in cash.
No, you just didn't tell anybody that you allegedly got paid back in cash, right?
No, I told everyone who asked.
Today.
Yes, sir.
Now, who else was with you, if anyone else, when you and Ms. Willis were discussing how you would be handling the financial component of the motion here today, that is the personal benefits?
I'm going to object to the relevance of that, Your Honor.
Mr. Gillen?
Well, the relevance is if they know that they're going to be called as witnesses, they've been subpoenaed, and they are discussing what they're going to say, we need to know that. The court needs to know that. It goes to the veracity of Mr. Willis and, Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade.
Overruled.
We didn't discuss how we were going to handle testimony.
My question was, when you were discussing with Ms. Willis in the conference room, when you were discussing what you perceived to be the situation concerning the benefits for the payments.
Yes, sir.
Was there anyone else present?
No, sir.
How long did the meeting take?
Probably 5 or 10 minutes.
Did Ms. Willis tell you what she was going to say?
No, sir.
Did you ask her whether she had any bank withdrawals that would corroborate the assertion that she would pay you back in large sums of cash for these trips to the Caribbean, Belize, California, on and on and on?
Your Honor, again, I object. The proffer, when the last relevance objection was made, was that Mr. Gillen needed to know who else was there, these could be potential witnesses that he could cross-examine. That question has been answered.
Okay. I think it's still exploring possible bias or motive to shape his testimony, so overrule on that ground.
Noah girl said he probably couldn't tell Fanni no
Mr.
if he
Willis,
wanted to.
Excuse me, Mr. Wade, when you were having this discussion, did you ask Ms. Willis, do you have anything to support these cash withdrawals?
No, sir.
Did you ask her where she got the cash?
Here, this is the conversation. I produced my credit card statement that showed what Ms. Merchant in her filing was representing. That was the conversation.
Okay. So when she would pay you back in cash, were you aware of what her financial situation was? Do you know what?
No, sir.
Your Honor, I object to the relevance.
Well, Your Honor, it's relevant because we've been bombarded with the book, Find Me the Votes, in which
What's at issue is the financial benefit, and if that plays a material interest in an actual conflict of interest. So I think that's relevant.
now, have you read the book Find Me the Votes?
I have.
You have.
I have.
Okay. Now, in that book, Ms. Willis is telling the authors about how financially destitute she was, or kind of hitting down on the bottom as she was running for DA. Do you remember that part of the book?
So let me qualify the response. I've read the book in parts. I hadn't had the time to sit and read the book in its entirety.
Did you read that part about how she's telling the authors about how little money she had and how financially she was in bad shape prior to when she was running? Did you read that part?
No, sir.
Did you ever have discussions with Ms. Willis about her financial situation, which was in apparently in rough shape prior to her being elected DA?
No, sir. Ms. Willis made it clear that her financial business was just that. It was her business. I know nothing about her financial status. I know nothing about how she was faring before or after the election, or even now. I know nothing about her finances.
Telling us that she didn't share that with you, but chose to share it with the authors of a book that's been published and printed and sold nationally.
I think that's a fair question for Cross.
I don't know that she shared it with the author. I don't know that the author is telling the truth. I don't know the author, so I don't know, sir.
Okay. Now, did you give an interview to the authors of that book?
I've given no interview, sir.
So you haven't talked to them at all?
I haven't talked to any media.
All right.
None.
Now, as it relates to
I'd like to, though.
As it relates to, again, from your bank records that you're aware of, there'll be no cash deposits, right?
I didn't say that.
Are there cash deposits which line up with the money that you have allegedly received from Ms. Willis to, quote, pay you back for her part of the trips?
So here's the thing. In my bank records, you will see cash deposits. You will see check deposits. I can't say that you look through the bank records and you won't see cash deposits, because I have two sources of income, sir. Income comes from my private practice, my firm, and income comes from the contract here with Fulton County. During the course of private practice, occasionally I will have occasion to deposit cash into my account.
And in preparation for this hearing and your testimony, did you go through your bank records to find out if you could locate any cash deposits that would corroborate your testimony?
No, sir. I didn't go through my bank records at all.
Now, so what you would do, the money that you received, of course, the money that you received from your work for Fulton County, that's public funds, correct?
No, sir. That's private funds. It's my
Public funds pay you to do work for Fulton County, correct?
Tell me what the definition of a public fund is.
A public fund would be your funds, as in not fund, but funds, money. Public money, as in money from taxpayers, either in Fulton County or the state of Georgia, pay you to do the work that you're doing here in this case, yes or no?
One or the other, I'm certain.
You know which
is
one?
the case. I don't know which one, no, sir.
Now, you would take those public funds, and those public funds were then used, deposited in your account, and they were then used to pay on the credit cards for the trips that you would take with Ms. Willis, correct?
I object to the question insofar as the characterization of public funds. The witness didn't testify to that, and I don't believe there's been any evidence to that. Once it's paid to Mr. Wade, it's private funds.
Well, the point of it is that you got money.
Mr. Gillen's rephrasing.
Yeah, I'll read it. Let's break it down. You got money from Fulton County for the work that you do here, right?
Yes, sir.
You would send in invoices. They would pay you money, correct?
Yes, sir.
Those money, that were private money, that money was money from either the citizens of Fulton County or from the state of Georgia, correct? That's what I mean by public funds. Agreed?
But I guess I'm having trouble with
Hey, Steve-O.
the notion that the citizens of Fulton County have paid me any funds. I'm not certain the funding source. I can tell you that either the state of Georgia or Fulton County has written me a check.
So that would be, those two entities are public entities, correct?
Yes.
That would be public funds, right? Right? Yeah.
Yes.
And those public funds are from the same source that you would then use to pay out on your expenses for the trips that you took Miss Willis on, correct?
No, sir. As I testified to moments ago, I have income coming in from my law firm. I also have income coming in from the funds that we're here discussing now from either the state of Georgia or Fulton County and or both. I'm not certain what it is. So
What
to say
Sorry,
that
I didn't mean to
that
cut you off. Go ahead.
So to say that I'm paying a credit card statement with funds coming from Fulton County or the state of Georgia would not be an accurate statement, because the funds could have very well come from my private practice.
What percentage of your income in 2022 came from money where you're working on this case or from your partners working for the Fulton County?
I'm getting ready to forward it to
In
Fanni in just a
2022,
few minutes.
I would say 50-50.
You think 50-50 in 2022?
Yes, sir.
What about 2023?
Probably 60-40.
60-40.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I can see is they're trying to say that Fanni contracted him to a job that he wasn't qualified for so that he could give her the money back. Is that what they're saying? She found a way to funnel money so that she could steal. She gave him the job so that he could give the money back to her. They trying to play games. They really is. Because I'm trying to see what all this got to do with anything.
Do me a favor. Hold on, I need some of these glasses. After you screw them, you can swear, you can lay it and swear, because I don't know what before. Yes, sir. District Attorney Fani, F-A-N-I. Last name is Willis.
Ms. Willis, how did you know to come into the courtroom right then?
There were people I was pacing in my office.
Okay.
And I heard someone yell, "His testimony is done." It only made sense to me that I would be your next witness. And I've been very anxious to have this conversation with you today. So I ran to the courtroom.
Y'all, she poised. Look at that lady.
Done testifying. That's when you just assumed you would be the next witness.
It only makes sense.
Did you listen to any of the testimony?
I've been in my office pacing, man.
Did you listen to any of the arguments?
I did hear the arguments this morning. It's ridiculous to me that you lied on Monday, and yet here we still are. And I did listen to that argument.
All right, so that was it, just the argument, no testimony.
Right, I listened to the argument this morning where Adam Abadi, I thought, did an excellent job pointing out how dishonest you were with the court on Monday. And I'm actually surprised that the hearing continued, but since it did, here I am.
Great. So let's just talk about what you did in preparation for today. Did you meet with Mr. Wade at all? Once the motion was filed, did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you?
On this first January motion?
Yes.
I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. So I don't know that it was a conversation. As you know, Mr. Wade is a Southern gentleman. Me, not so much.
Okay, but my question was, did you have a conversation?
I didn't have a substantive conversation.
You did not.
I read this motion, skimmed it more so, and I probably said some choice things to him about some of the lies they were told.
Okay.
And then printed in the media because, you know, we used to be in a day and time where you had 60 Minutes and people did stories and they verified information, and you had this great reporting. But it seems today that a lawyer writes a lie and then it's printed for all of the world to see.
Well, I just want to make sure that you answer the question I asked, though. So my question was,
Overruled, Mr. Abadi.
I told you what happened. I read the motion. I am sure I told him what my opinion of it is.
Okay.
And past that, we had no substantive conversation.
you did not.
Is there something you didn't understand?
No, I just want to make sure that you did not have a meeting with him in the conference room to discuss the motion.
Next question,
No.
Ms. Merchant.
So in the conference room of my office within this week, you produced some financial document. That financial document was given to me, something, and I'm not even sure who's given it to him by me or Mr. Abadi gave it to me. And I think he showed me a document in our conference room. But as far as a substantive conversation, I don't believe I've had any conversation with him that is substantive related to this.
Okay.
I have had conversations with him since you filed the motion, but they wouldn't be substantive to this. He sent me very nice sermons that have been done. And so we've had conversations about, did you listen to that sermon? You know, things of that nature. And I would say they were in relationship to this because I think he did it to be kind.
Let's start back in 2019.
Yeah.
So you and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct.
Okay.
And I think in one of your motions, you tried to implicate I slept with him at that conference, which I find to be extremely offensive. I stayed at that conference. Mr. Wade was my teacher. I did not meet him when he taught the class. I was standing outside talking to Lisa Reeves, who is a judge. Me and her were just having a conversation. Mr. Wade walks up and they hug each other. They have some brief conversation. She introduces us.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. We kind of thought that when you asked a question, you didn't answer the question, not a speech, so I object to the speech.
I
I
agree.
believe I'm able to explain my answers.
I believe she's able to explain her answer.
And
That's Ms. Merchant. That's okay. I can handle it. Ms. Willis, I'll ask you to listen to the answer, or excuse me, the question, and keep the answers confined to the question as best you can. I think you'll have more than enough ample opportunity on when the state.
It's highly offensive when someone lies on you, and it's highly offensive when they try to implicate that you slept with somebody the first day you met with them, and I take exception to it.
All right. Well, Ms. Willis, she'll have the opportunity to explain all of that when it's the state's turn to ask more open-ended questions.
Yeah.
Ms. Merchant.
Thank you, Judge. So again, my question was, you all met at that conference, though, right?
We did the meeting.
Okay.
He, as I stated, he taught the class. I did not actually meet him when he taught the class. I walked out of the class, and I'm not sure if it was that exact class or we had went to lunch, but we were standing in the vestibule, like outside of the class. Me and Judge Reeves were having a conversation. She had worked at a law firm I worked at back in 1996.
We're getting way afar. I mean, I don't mind her explaining her answers, but I literally just asked if they met at that conference.
Explaining how she met Mr. Wade, which was exactly the question asked by Ms. Merchant.
These
answers are more than appropriate.
Ms. Merchant, if you want more concise answers, perhaps you could lead the witness.
I will. Thank you, Judge. Isn't it true that you met Mr. Wade October 2019 at the judges
We
conference?
haven't gotten to the point where Ms. Willis should be treated hostile in this situation.
I think we
And
have.
I very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Thank you.
Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
All right, let's
Judge,
proceed.
I would just ask that
We can keep things moving. Ms.
Thank
Merchant,
you.
next question,
Thank you.
please.
Okay, so we've confirmed when you met. After that, isn't it true?
No, I need to explain this, and I think I get to explain my answers. When I met him, Judge Reeves introduced us. He handed me his business card. I'm unsure if I handed him my business card, but we exchanged information. He said, if you ever need any help, give me a call. And he walked to the parking lot.
So after that, you started dating shortly thereafter, correct?
That's a lie. That's one of your lies.
Okay. Do you know Robin Yurdy?
I know her as Robin Bryant. I knew her. So Robin did not go to my college. She went to the college of, I went to Howard University. She went to Morgan State. I met her through some people I knew. In college, we hung out a bit, not much because she was in Baltimore and I was in Washington, D.C. But we hung out a bit. After college, I lost contact with her.
Hey,
I probably
Tony.
didn't see Robin again until maybe 7 or 8 years ago, a chance meeting here in Atlanta, but we did not have a consistent relationship from when I left college and came to Emory Law School here in Atlanta. But 8 to 10 years ago, just by happenstance, I ran into her. So she was in Atlanta.
You have been friends with Robin for 30-something years.
Did you hear my answer, ma'am?
Yes, and I'm asking if you've been friends with her for 30-something years.
I've known her for 30-something years. We certainly hung out and partied together in college. She was from the D.C. area. She would come home, we'd party together. Wasn't close, but she was certainly in the girlfriends that partied together. And then, like I said, I ran into her about 10 years ago in Atlanta, Georgia. But we didn't talk throughout that time period. I didn't see her. I didn't even know where she was. When I ran into her, I was surprised she was in Atlanta. And so, yes, I have known her probably since 1990, 1991, but we have not maintained a consistent relationship that whole time.
For the last 10 years or 5, whatever you'd like to classify it as, have you been friends with her?
I have not spoken to Robin in over a year. I certainly do not consider her a friend now. I think that she, there's a saying, no good deed goes unpunished. And I think that she betrayed our friendship.
So let's narrow it down, the timeline now. So my questions are going to be from the time period of 2019 until she no longer was employed for you, the last time you all talked. So
Hey,
all of my
I'm
next questions
blessed.
are just focused on that time frame, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Up until she left your office.
Yes, ma'am.
During 2019, you all were friends, correct?
Yes, we knew each other in 2019.
During 2020, you all were friends, correct?
We were friends during that time period.
During 2021, you all were friends, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And such good friends that when you needed a place to stay, you asked her if you could take over her lease.
That's a lie.
You did
That's
not
not
move
the-
into her apartment?
I
or her
did, but
condo?
that's not the way you characterize it is wrong.
I asked if you could take over her lease.
I did not ask if I could take over her lease.
Did you move into her apartment?
I moved into her condo in April of 21. The circumstances around that were that Robin met her husband. They wanted to move into another and separate place. She wanted to get rid of her condo. My father was living with me at the house. Because of this case and because of my stance on gangs, my life was being threatened regularly. My father urged me to leave our home. At the same time, as luck would have it, Robin wanted to give up her lease because she wanted to move in with this new man she met, who eventually became her husband. And so, as life circumstances worked, my dad was begging me to leave the house. He was afraid for me, afraid for his grandchildren. She wanted someone to take over her lease so that she didn't, have to pay a fee or get abandoned. And so, I don't remember when, but probably March or April of 21, I moved in and take over her lease.
And did you pay her or did you pay the leasing agent?
No, I don't even know who the leasing agent was. I paid her.
You paid her. Did you pay her cash or did you use the card?
There were some times that I would give her cash, but mostly I paid her via Cash App. That would be the most convenient thing. So I would not only give her rent, but then like when the utilities would come in, whatever the utility was, she might be like, I need $70, I need $100, whatever it was. And we never had a problem with money. Whatever she told me it was, I never asked to see a bill. I never questioned her. I just gave it to her.
What percentage would you say you paid cash versus Cash App?
Oh, the vast majority was Cash App. I don't know what percentage. I'm not going to guess that. But the vast majority was Cash App. But there would be times she would say, this bill came in at $70. Here goes $70.
Did you have a monthly rent amount that you paid her?
I can't remember. It was $1,400, $1,500. I can't remember what it was. And it would vary, which I don't understand to this day. But like I said, I never questioned her.
When did you move out?
She said it was, that's what I paid.
When did you
I
move out?
abruptly moved out in February, either late January or early February of 22.
Of 22.
Yes,
February
ma'am.
2022, is that what you said?
January, February of 22. I believe it is January, but I paid her half the rent of February of 22 is what I remember. And because I was offering to pay the whole rent, even though I didn't live there, I didn't think it was right. And I ended up just paying her half the rent.
So that's after you moved out. You said
Yes,
you
ma'am.
paid her half of that. Okay. And the time that you said you had to move out of your house because you were scared, did your dad stay there at your house?
My father was concerned. Yes, we were both concerned.
Okay. But he remained there.
My father was 80 years old. He would have been 79. He was scared to death of COVID. You have to go back to when this was. My father's an older man. I wanted him to move out. We had some discussions about him moving out, and what he decided was the risk of COVID was more dangerous than the risk of the people that were threatening. Typical man, more worried about his daughter and his grandchildren than his own safety. You'll get to meet him and you'll understand he doesn't scare too easily.
So his grandkids were living at the house as well at that time?
Well, I don't know how old your children are, but when you have adult children, they leave and they come back. They leave and they come back. So there have been periods of time that they're there, they come, they do whatever they want to do. Children do what children do. As long as their mother has a house, they'll come to it. Unfortunately, now the threats because of this case have gotten so extreme. I just pay a mortgage and no one lives there.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So when you moved out in, I think you said April 2021, you left your dad and your two kids at the house?
My dad and my two kids were not at the house. No.
They were not? Okay, so they didn't still live at your house?
My youngest daughter certainly did not live there.
Okay.
My oldest daughter would come back and forth. I can't say month for month when she was there or when she was not there. I know that she has been there post me moving out. At this time, no one is at my house.
So at some point after you moved out for the safety reasons, at least one of your children did come
Ms.
back.
Merchant, can we get to either the
Yeah.
relationship or the
Sure.
financial benefit?
Yes. Let's see, we were back at 2021. So you were still friends with Miss Yeardy then. Were you also friends with Mr. Bradley?
I've never been friends with Mr. Bradley.
You've never been friends with Mr. Bradley?
No, I don't consider us to be friends. I don't dislike Mr. Bradley, but I don't consider us to be friends.
Is he someone that you would have in your phone and you would message with?
I might have text messaged him.
Okay. Would you text message him and Mr. Wade on the same conversations?
I don't recall doing that, but if it happened, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, so that wouldn't surprise you, the three of you. Okay. How frequently would you think that the three of you would have texted?
Not very. I wouldn't think very often, but you're asking me to recall. I don't even know what time period you're asking me to recall, but I'm not going to speak to that because I just really don't know the answer to that. So I don't want to speculate as to how often that would happen. But it's not out of my practice to text two people on one text message. So if you told me that happened and showed it to me, it wouldn't surprise me, although I have no recollection of it.
But there would be some record of it in your phone, or the phone records would have some record of those texts.
Perhaps.
Talk about, you said that sometimes you paid Miss Yeardy cash.
I don't
When
think
you
I-
went,
I'm sorry.
sorry, when you went on vacation with Mr. Wade, let's just go one by one. Let's start with the first one. What's the first time you went on vacation with Mr. Wade?
I think the first time we went on vacation was around April of 22. And it's a vacation is a stretch, but I'm trying to be comprehensive. I recall April of 22. His birthday is March the 18th. So that would have been his 49th birthday. I took him to like Tennessee for the day. I think we went to a museum. I think we might have stayed the night. I'm not sure. But I mean, Tennessee's kind of hard to call a vacation, but I just am trying to be inclusive. And it, like I said, I know it wasn't more than a day.
So you didn't spend the night?
I think that we did. That's what I'm telling you. I think that there's a possibility that we stayed that night in April of 22.
Who paid for the hotel?
I think I did. It was his birthday.
And would you have used a credit card?
Probably maybe a debit.
Okay, you guys, let me see.
Crediting Mr. Wade. It was right around then.
April 2020?
22. Yes,
2022.
it was around there. I don't know, like, it's not like when you're in grade school and you send a little letter and it says, will you be my girlfriend, and you check it. I don't know the day that we started seeing each other, but it was early 22 is my recollection.
Okay, early 22. And you all went to Florida on vacation as well?
I don't recall going to Florida on vacation with him.
You never went to Florida with Mr. Wade?
When we went to get on the cruise ship, we went to Miami.
Okay, that's the only time that you went to Florida with him?
I think we went to Miami and spent the night. That's my recollection.
Okay.
I think we spent one night so that we wouldn't miss the ship. That's my recollection of our
Who paid for that hotel?
in Miami. I don't remember that.
And how'd you get to Miami?
We would have flown. And we've done that, so that I'm clear. We've done that twice. I think one time we stayed, and I honestly can't tell you, did we stay when the ship left or did we stay when the ship came back? I also can't tell you, so there's 2 cruises out of Miami. There's one that's in that October time period that was with his mom. And then there was another that was a New Year's Eve trip. I know I paid for the New Year's Eve trip because the tickets were $697 each. And I thought this is ridiculous that the tickets are $700 to go to Miami. But when you travel during New Year's Eve, you know, they get you.
So let's just back up and talk about the first time that you went to Florida with Mr. Wade. That was the time that you said you stayed in Miami at the hotel the first night?
That's the time I told you, I am not sure. So I'm not sure of 2 things. So I want to make sure that my testimony is clear. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the October trip. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the December trip. I just can't remember that. And I also don't remember, so that the record is clear, I don't remember if the necessity was as we got on the ship or we got off the ship. But I do remember there was a night spent in Miami because either whatever, I don't remember. But I think that there was a night spent in Miami.
That cruise is the one that you took in October, right?
Ma'am, if you have something to refresh my recollection, I'm intentionally trying to not be difficult with you, but I don't want to make up something.
Right.
I know that on one of those 2 trips, we stayed in Miami. I am not sure right now. You're asking me about.
Oh, I'm sorry, you misunderstood. I was not asking you which night you stayed in Miami. I'm asking if you took a cruise in October 2022 with Mr. Wade.
Yes, and his mom.
And his mother. That's what I was asking.
Yes.
Is that the first time you met his mother?
Yes.
It was on that cruise, and that was Royal Caribbean, I believe?
I honestly don't remember what ship. I know we've taken 2 cruises. I don't know what the ships were.
But he paid for the flight and the cruise on Royal Caribbean that time.
So yes, he paid. He is the original one that does it. He has something called, Mr. Wade is a world traveler. I'm not as versed as him. He's been to 6 of the 7 continents. And so he has both a personal travel agent and he also has a cruise travel agent. I don't know anything about either of those kind of travel agents. So he is the one that would book the travel, but we need to be clear when we're talking about just because he booked it doesn't mean, like, I don't consider him having taken me anyplace. Let me just be honest. The only one that's ever taken somebody someplace is for his 50th birthday. I consider that I took him to Belize, and I took him to Belize because, I don't want to discuss his personal business, but I'm happy Mr. Wade is still here with us. And I did 50 big, very big.
So still on that October Royal Caribbean cruise, even though he had a travel agent. I'm sorry.
If you do me a favor, I don't know what cruise ship, what time. So if you'll help me and say October cruise with Mama or the New Year's Eve trip with his sisters, I'll be able to, we can communicate. I just don't know what ship.
October cruise with Mama. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He paid for the cruise and the flights for that trip.
So he called his cruise agent and he booked that through them because he has a cruise agent.
Right.
He also has a regular agent. I don't know the cruise agent's name.
So I wasn't asking about his travel agent. I was just asking
but
if
I'm
he
trying
paid
to,
for those.
He did not though.
Okay.
Because the reason I consider that he did not is I gave him his money back.
And I was about to ask that, but initially he paid for that.
Yeah, he called his cruise agent. Like, I think they have his card on record. They do whatever.
Okay. So initially he paid for the cruise and the flight to Miami and the Royal Caribbean cruise.
And my understanding of that October cruise is like it was a package the lady did for him.
Okay. And I'll get to the reimbursements and all that. I'm just trying to confirm he paid for the flight and the cruise in October.
And I think that when you say things that way, I want this record to be abundantly clear that he calls his travel agent, he calls his cruise agent. They do whatever he tells them. He's like on a first name basis with these people. They do it. and then he tells me how much it is, and I give him the money back. I don't, just like you're asking me about the money with Robin, I don't do my friends like that. So if you tell me it's a G, then you're going to get $1,000. Whatever it is, I didn't ever make him produce receipts to me. Whatever he told me it was, I gave him the money back.
Isn't it true that he paid for the cruise and the flight on his credit card? I'm not asking about reimbursement or after. He used his credit card to buy the cruise and buy the flight, correct?
I have no idea how he paid for it, if it's a credit card, if it's a debit card, but certainly he called his cruise agent. You know, like how many people have a cruise agent? He calls his cruise agent, tells them where they want to go. They tell him what's booked. You have to remember, he paid for, that initial was me, him, and his mother.
And then after that cruise, you all flew to Aruba and spent a couple days in a hotel there, correct?
Right, and his mother was not happy.
He
that we left her
initially
behind.
paid for that. He initially paid for that.
For Aruba, yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about both of those. I know he initially paid for it. Did you pay him back?
For the cruise and for Aruba, yeah, I gave him his money before we ever went on that trip.
You gave him cash before you ever went on the trip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips, would you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
You would not go to the ATM?
No.
Okay. So Fulton County pays you direct deposit, I assume?
Yes, Fulton County and the state of Georgia both pay me direct deposits.
Okay. So the cash that you would pay him, you wouldn't get it out of the bank?
I have money in my house.
You have money in your house. So it was just money that was there.
When you meet my father, he's going to tell you as a woman, you should always have, which I don't have, so let's don't tell him that. You should have at least 6 months in cash at your house at all times. Now, I don't know why this old black man feels like that, but he does. When we were growing up, my daddy had 3 safes in the house. So my father's bought me a lockbox, and I always keep cash in the house. Now, I don't do it to the degree that my father would do it, so he would probably be ashamed with me, but I always have cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life. If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house, and I don't keep cash as good in my purse like I used to. I don't go on any dates. When you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
So my question was, where did that cash originally come from? If it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. We've had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50, you throw it in there. When it's been my whole life. When I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign, I kept some of the cash of that. Like, to tell you, I just have cash in my house. I don't have as much today as I would normally have, but I'm building back up now.
Y'all,
You
she's
put
sharp.
money in. It's a very good practice. I would advise it to all women.
So you can't identify when you came into this cash or where the cash came from?
I didn't say I couldn't identify it. No, nobody gives me anything. I am sure that the source of the money is always the work, sweat, and tears of me. What you asked me for is, when did the money go in there? What I am trying to tell you is, so I got divorced in 2005 from my husband.
And
No. It's important. You said, where did the money come from? And I need to tell you where the money came from. And so for many, many years, I have kept money in my house. That money in my worst days has probably only been $500 or $1,000. At my best days, I probably had $15,000 in my house of cash. At all times, there's going to be cash in my house or wherever I'm laying my head.
The money that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash, in October of 2022, you do not know where that money came from.
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
You know which job it came from. Did it come from Fulton County or did it come from a private job?
It came from, what are you talking about? So it could have come from a private job because before I was DA, I was in private practice. So I earned money during that time period. It's probably in there.
You don't
It
know
could have. What do you mean? I don't know where it came from. I
I
absolutely
understand the situation. We can move on.
Okay, thanks. Same with Aruba. You don't know where that cash came from either, right?
Ma'am, you are mischaracterizing my testimony greatly. I'm not going to allow you to mischaracterize my testimony. I know that I keep money in my house. The amounts of money I gave Mr. Wade, it was never that serious. I don't think I've ever handed him more than $2,500 in a reimbursement. So we're not talking about $20,000 in cash. I don't have $20,000 in cash right now. The most I ever gave him, I know I gave him $2,500 when we went to Belize, because we went to one hotel and then we went to a second hotel. That $2,500 I actually gave him while we were still in Belize. I know that the Aruba trip, the one that you described with his mom, I think I gave him about $2,000 for that trip, for like total.
His mom went to Aruba with you?
The Aruba trip. So I consider that to be one trip. So we got off of a cruise ship and then we went to Aruba, which is why I cannot remember, is that the time that we had to stay in Miami to wait for the flight for Aruba. So I consider that one trip, but we didn't like come back to Atlanta and leave. We flew down to Miami. We got on a cruise ship. We spent a couple of days with his mama. We came back to Miami. When we came back to Miami, either that day or the next day, we flew to Aruba. We spent a few days in Aruba and we came back. That was really one trip. Even though we went two places, it was one trip.
So let's talk about the California trip. Is that when you were moving your daughter out to California? When you all went, or did you have two trips to California?
My daughter doesn't live in California.
Did she ever live in California?
I'm not discussing to you the location of my child.
So how many times did you go with Mr. Wade to California?
Once.
And you all stayed in Napa Valley and he paid for the plane tickets and the hotel?
He paid for the plane tickets and the hotel.
And what did you pay for on that trip?
I gave him much less cash that time, probably $400 or $500, and then I paid for a bunch of stuff. I think we did 2 different wine tours that you do, which are pretty expensive. I think I bought him.
Now y'all see how they
likes
take
wine. I don't really
advantage
like
of
wine.
people
Yeah,
who don't
I
know
like
the
places.
law. Because anybody else
I
would have
bought him a
answered
bottle
that
of wine
question.
while we were there, and the sippings that you do. I can't remember how many, like 4 or 5 different places you go. I remember we went to this place that they do pairings. That was the most expensive thing that I think that we did while we were there. So they would pair they would pair champagne, chocolate, and caviar. It was a 3, and it was like 3 different things: Sweden, Russia, someplace else. I'll make that up. But that was the most expensive thing we did that trip, and I paid for that.
You pay cash?
For us doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that trip did not cost me a lot of money. I might have took like $750 in cash on me because we weren't gone very long. And then
I'd only asked if you paid in cash. I don't even know the amounts.
When I travel, I always take cash.
And is the cash that you keep in your house, or do you keep it at the condo that you were living in?
So at that point, it wouldn't be at my house.
Hey,
And I'm
August.
sorry if I was not clear. The money would be wherever I laid my head. So I wouldn't leave the money at the house. So if I was unclear, no, money's going to be where I stay.
How much did you pay for your trip to Panama?
To where?
Panama, I believe.
I didn't go to
Panama. I may have the location wrong.
I never went to Panama.
So
Mr.
after
Wade went to Panama with his frat brother.
Oh, he went to Panama with his frat brothers. So tell me about, let's see. So I want to make sure I've got them. I've got Belize. You already covered Belize. You covered the.
So let me tell you our real trips. In October, we went on the cruise with his mom. We got back from the cruise with his mom and we went to Aruba. I consider that one trip. Second trip, New Year's Eve, we went on a cruise to the Bahamas. That's the second trip. I want to make sure I get this right. Third trip, 100% on me. I think he might have spent $200 on that entire trip. We went to Belize. That was my trip. That was, his 50th. And then Napa Valley, we went around May. I don't know the dates, but it seems to me like it was close to Mother's Day.
And those are the only trips?
So that the record is complete. I can remember one time driving to, where were we? South Carolina, and we met my sister for lunch with her man.
When was that?
I don't know, but we didn't stay the night there. But I guess people would consider that a trip if you drive somewhere and you come back. That was insane because it was like 5 hours to drive. We ate lunch and we drove right back. I can remember driving to some little town in Georgia. I don't even know where I was. I had never been there before or after. There's some boat you can get on over to, and there's like a slave thing, if that gives anyone any reference. We didn't do that. I remember doing that. I remember driving one time to Charlotte. We had lunch with one of my very close girlfriends. And again, we drove to Charlotte, met my girlfriend for lunch, and drove right back. So that's a trip. We didn't stay the night there, but I just want to be complete in my testimony. We drove someplace, had lunch, drove back. I don't remember another driving someplace distant for lunch and coming back to Charlotte to see a girlfriend, to meet my sister in South Carolina. We went by ourselves when I told you about that remote place in Georgia. We could have driven someplace else and had lunch and came back, but that's all that comes to my recollection right now. There could have been another place we drove and had lunch. My security team was very clear to me. I'm not to be out and about in Atlanta without them. And so for me to do something just very normal that a normal person would get to do, if they weren't prosecuting this case, I got to drive 4 hours to do it.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Your security detail, did they take you to and from your house?
They take, well, so I haven't been able to enjoy my home.
Condo, I'm sorry.
Since
And
March of
where you lay your head? Did they take you to and from where you lay your head?
99% of the time.
Would they take Mr. Wade to and from wherever you laid your head?
That has never in the history of ever happened, ever, okay?
Your security team has never taken him?
From my house? That's a lie.
That's another. If they've ever taken him anywhere.
And I'm telling you that that's never happened.
So your security team has never taken
My
Mr. Wade
security team has never taken Mr. Wade from any place where I have lived and brought him here. Never, not once, not ever.
Have they ever taken the two of you together?
To where?
Anywhere.
Well, we've left this building and gone to lunch, but I go to lunch so rarely that is a very rare occasion. I am sure, and let me be clear, it wouldn't just be Mr. Wade. So I'm sure my security team has taken me to lunch. Probably been a time I've left here 7 o'clock, gone to get something to eat. And I don't even know that they would have taken him or if he would have driven himself, but they've taken me to do that. But we're talking very few, very far in between. Most days I don't even eat lunch. And when I do, it's because my assistant has heated up some bag, something, and I eat through meetings and eat in my office. It's not a practice of mine to go to lunch.
During the time period that you were dating, would your security team ever take you two together anywhere?
No.
Never.
If there was a lunch that occurred that I just described, if there was a meal that occurred that I just described, anything outside of that, and it needs to be very clear. Not often. Once, twice. Because I want to be over-inclusive, I'm saying once or twice. I'm not certain that it happened, but I'd rather be over-inclusive with you.
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
And well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
So my question was, do you have any problem?
I object to you getting any personal records of mine.
We're not dealing with privilege through a witness.
And I'm not, no, I'm not dealing with privilege. What we had offered to put them in camera for the court to review, and I just want to know if she has any
That's not
problem.
something you deal with a witness.
Okay, you have to file as part of your job something called an income and financial disclosure report, correct?
That's correct.
And you filed your first one, so you filed 2 to date, is that right?
Is it 2 or 3? I probably would have filed 21, 22, and maybe I haven't filed 23 yet, because isn't it due like June of the next year?
April, I believe. So you filed, let's see, you filed your first one, it looks like April 15th, 2022, and your second one, April 17th, 2023. Does that sound familiar?
I don't remember the dates, but you're an officer of the court. I'm gonna hope you're telling the truth now.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you. I already gave the state a copy. Exhibit 20 and 21.
Can somebody bring me some? Yeah.
I guess she's
God,
hoping
forget
to
the
be the
Lord.
next district attorney.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
those are the ones that you filed.
This looks like me for sure. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Judge, we'd move to admit 20 and 21.
I think you need to delineate which one's which
20
one's which.
is 2021, so it accounts for the time period, Your Honor, January the 1st, 21 through December the 31st, 2021. That is Defendant's Exhibit 20. Defendant's Exhibit 2021, it accounts for the time period, January the 1st, 2022 through December the 1st of 2022.
All right. Any objection to exhibits 20 and 21?
Nope.
Sorry.
From other counsel? Admitted without objection.
When did your personal relationship with Mr. Wade end?
Our personal relationship ended in
Y'all
this
get the
year.
likes up.
So let's be very clear so that we don't mix words. I don't want to mix words in here. Mr. Wade is my friend right now. Mr. Wade, I would say, has been my friend since 2020. I think he started out as like a mentor and a professional colleague. He became my friend and somebody that I really respected. I feel very indebted to Mr. Wade for taking on the task of this job. And he is certainly my friend and one of the people that I respect the most. So if you ask about a personal relationship, I consider myself to have a personal relationship right now, Mr. Wade. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Anna Cross. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Mr. Abadi. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Andrew Evans.
Okay, let me just clarify that.
I have a personal relationship with him as we speak right now. I don't think that's what you're asking. I think that's what you're asking.
When did your romantic relationship with Mr. Wade end?
My-
Did it end?
Me and Mr. Wade, we are good friends. My respect for him has grown over these 7 weeks of attacks. We are very good friends. I think, but for these attacks, it would have been a friendship that, as life goes, you would have stopped having. I think that you have cemented that we'll be friends to the day we die.
That let's.
Could we just have an answer to the question?
I can handle Mr. Seda. Let's have it.
She asked about a personal relationship.
She asked when the romantic relationship ended. That's the question.
It's sometime in, I'd say late summer of 2023. So I don't believe me in, this is what you're really asking about. This is the salaciousness of all of this, right?
No, I'm just
when
asking
you're
about your
re-
romantic relationship, when you stopped dating.
I think that me and Mr. Wade, so he's a man, he probably would say June or July. I would say we had a tough conversation in August. So that men in relationships at the end of physical intimacy, women in relationships when that tough conversation takes place.
And when did he come to, I guess, the condo? I'm not sure what you called it, condo apartment. Would he come and stay at that condo or visit you there? I'm sorry, visit you there.
What condo, what apartment? I want to be clear.
So not your house. I know you classified one as house and one as condo. So I'm trying to use those terms.
So there's been more. See, what you don't understand is because of this case, I got to move. And so I
Ms.
need
Merchant, if you
to,
could ask a more precise
yes,
question.
please give me the time period. that we're talking
Mr. Wade
about.
visits you at the place you laid your head.
When?
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in, right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth,
Judge.
And it is a lie. It
We're
is
gonna-
a lie.
Ms. Willis?
You see.
Mr. Seda, thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes. Be back in 5.
May I go to the bathroom?
Woo, child. They tried. They just couldn't handle her. She came ready. She said she had been pacing back and forwards in her office, waiting. I guess the lady, the pit bull that is, has her up on examination or whatever. I guess she thinks she's gonna be able to run for DA and win, but she just lost because she wouldn't be a good district attorney because Fanni just served her. Fanni just served her with her hand on her face, laid back. So like she said, they're acting like, so I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to say or establish that she contracted him so that she could pay him because he was her lover, right? and benefit from the money, almost like double dipping or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, she served her. She served her. She sure did serve her good. She did not come to play, and they did not gonna play with her. I'm telling you, she told them, let's be clear, you lied. She knew what she could and couldn't say in court. So like so many people don't know the law. So they feel like when they're asked a question, they have to answer it instead of refusing. Yeah, Fanni said, I ain't on trial. She says, I ain't on trial. So, like I said, you could tell with the way that they are coming at her that they had been wanting to set Fanni up. Willis lost that. Wait till judge examines the case. Whew, child. So I don't know, but like I said, I believe that they had all of this together. This was the intention. Somebody, I think, egged her on to go after Trump and was working with these people. They said if she go after him, they had every intention on setting her up. That's what I think. Even though her relationship was consensual, they act like she's on trial for something. They're trying to establish that she hired him in and paid him that salary so that she could get the money back. And so that's the reason you hear her saying, no, I paid for it. I paid for this. I paid for that out of my own money. I paid for it. I paid for it. Because if she said he paid for it, they would say, okay, aha, that's the reason you've hired him so that you could. It's almost like they're trying to accuse her of double dipping. Yeah, there's double standards. A judge will compel you to answer BS non-relevant questions. Boss Lady 2 says, this is a perfect example of how they do you when you stand against the powers that be. That white woman didn't stand a chance. She didn't stand a chance because she came up in there mad. She came up in there mad. She said, I paid with my secret stash. She did that just right. So if I've saved money all down through the years, I can't say where I got it from. Working. I got a stash, and that's how I paid for it. So I don't know where they're going with this, but she's not going. She didn't just roll over. That's for sure. She did not just roll over at all. Okay, she didn't just roll over. Yep. But anyways, the saga continues on that. I'm gonna pay close attention to that because, like, when I saw that in the beginning, I said they know Fanni is likable. She's established her popularity in that county, and she has the ambition to go even higher. Because I'm sure after her term was up, she's going to run for something else. And they probably trying to. I don't know if she has another term. Another time that she can run, but they're probably trying to fix it where she can't even run for district attorney anymore. So that's what all of this is about. They're trying to play with her livelihood and all of that. And I think that she is I think she defends herself just right, as she should. She got somebody else. She brings charges against somebody else for fraud. And what they try to do is flip it back on her because she's the black woman. That's sad. That's sad. Says Fanni won this, but remember this nepotism. Is it nepotism? I thought nepotism, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, was only considered nepotism if it was family. I thought it was only nepotism if it was relatives. Maybe it could be people. Let me see, nepotism. I thought it was only family. Let me see. But I could be wrong. Okay. So it's relatives, friends, and associates. So you're right. Relative, friends, and associates. They said Fanni probably will run for Attorney General of Georgia. It's something that they're wanting to keep her from running from. It's something that they're trying to stop her. Because see, Fanni is moving fast. You know, they see that she's moving up fast. She's got the popularity and all of that. And this is just something they're trying to put a damper on her name to stop her. That's all it is. They're sending people at her to try and defame her character and things of that nature to try to stop her from rising. But what's for her, she gonna get anyways. Tracy says they coming for her. Same if you dating each other, bam. They want her out because the big wigs behind the scenes are losing money because she is getting drugs off of the streets. I can believe that, Joy. Brother Dwayne says it's not nepotism. Boss Lady says, let's never forget Trump is on trial and he was sleeping with a porn star while his wife was pregnant. I'm blessed that she sure got the brain for it. I'm telling you, she's very smart and she is sharp. She's smart and she is sharp. So that's a good thing. She's smart and she's sharp. Ashley says Trump claims he does not know these people. He was hired for Trump's case. Oh, she contracted him in to investigate Trump's case. Oh, wow. Wow. I thank you guys for all of you. I was looking at my messages. I thank y'all for all of the support and all of the uplifting words and stuff. I do. I appreciate that so much. Tracy says that's why they want her out. Bingo. Boss Lady says they want to catch her in a lie. That's their goal. Triple edged sword. Truth says Trump wrong too. They all liars and have no moral ethics like they supposed to demonstrate. Oh, Deborah. Oh my God. I love you too, Tracy. There's nothing more dangerous than an intelligent black man than an intelligent black woman. I love intelligent black men. I love them. You're welcome. We rock with you. We rock with you and for you. Thank you, Beta. I appreciate that. I was looking at some of the messages I had coming through on my Facebook like page of people sending me inspiration. I appreciate that. I appreciate you all. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button for me. Like, share, and subscribe, okay? Like, share, and subscribe. Now, I wanted to move on and talk about, we'll come back to Fanni, but I feel like because I want to finish looking at something, because Fanni served that lady. But I wanted to talk about a straight drop still trying to get out of Shelby County. I appreciate you all too, Snoozy Cake. I do. I appreciate you all so much. You know, as long as I've talked about the Young Dolph case, even in the beginning when I started talking about this Young Dolph's case, in the very beginning, I tried to be very neutral, right? Even though everybody in Memphis had already known what had happened. And as time went on, more and more stuff started to come out. Like when it first happened, people knew where it came from, right? Even before I started vlogging on it, people was saying exactly in Memphis where it had came from, right? And like I said, as time went on, more and more and more started to come out, right? And I love you all too, TT, baby. And says, does Too Pretty Miss Kitty know about your earlier live? I don't know if she knows about my earlier live. I don't know. And so you know, it has been, it's I think what they're trying to do in this Young Dolph's case, because as far as with straight drop, because Cornelius and them, they have been pretty quiet. Cornelius' attorney, I love you all too, Clarinetta. I appreciate y'all support so much. Y'all know, I'm gonna say this. Y'all know when I started vlogging on this case, I bring you all the truth. Okay, I bring you all the truth. And when I get some things wrong, I come back and I say, well, you guys, I thought it was gonna be this way. This is what I was told, and it didn't happen like that. It's very seldom, but that's what I do, right? And so, even with this case, I've always said that it did not make me feel good to, thank you, Ashley. It did not make me feel good that Memphians were involved in taking out other Memphians, because I love my city. Like I said, we listened to Yo Gotti's music. He came from my era. Even though I'm not a real big rap music listener, he came from my era. And I hated it had happened. I started to learn more about Young Dolph and his philanthropy after it happened. And then Young Dolph is related to a cousin of mine named April, right? And and so even in the very beginning, even before I knew anything about what happened, April had said where they felt like it had came from. She just flat out said it. And I had never in my life even heard of Big Jook. I had not even heard of him, right? And so like I said, that was, you know, when folks was talking about, people talking about, we solved the Dawes case. Everybody in Memphis, ain't no damn about it solved the Dawes case but the police and the FBI, because everybody in Memphis knew where it came from. And those that were involved, you know, like some of these vloggers that popped up, you know, that has some type of affiliation with CMG, they knew where, you know, they knew, they still know even more than me, right? And so, like I said, you know, and then, you know, we started to hear about, when I first heard about, you know, Black youngster being involved, it was the insurance agent that said he was involved. And as I've said before, and I ain't got to go back over this because I've gone over it about 100 times. It ain't nothing gonna change. You know, I remember Vanessa saying to me, I grew up with, Vanessa is my best friend. And I have not seen Black youngster's mother since I was 12 years old. I think I've said that. And I remember she used to spend the night at Vanessa's house and we would all play together, because I always said, I remember her being a child, her, you know, because they were always 3 years older than me. She smiled just like Black youngster. I remember her as a child and how she would smile. He got the same damn smile. I think I've said that, right? And so I remember Vanessa saying to me one day, she said, you know who Black youngster's mother is? I said, She said, and then she said, I don't want to say his mother's name. And then she said it. I said, are you serious? She said, yeah, that's his mother. And I went and looked at a picture of him again. And I was like, yeah, he sure got the same smile that she's got, you know, that she had. Because I hadn't seen her since I was 12. Right. And anyways, so, you know, we would talk about what was going on. More and more started to come out, and you know, she has always been very vocal to me that I love my cousin, but he gonna have to go lay down, right? I don't appreciate what happened. And she got up on my panel and said that Vanessa too real to sit up and lie. She's a real one for real. Right? I have to mute her sometimes when she get deep into telling some stuff, because she still live in the hood. I ain't get ready to have her get up on my damn panel and get my damn friend killed. Cause see, I'm loyal for real. I'm loyal for real. So when you hear me muting her, she right in the midst of all them killers and thugs, because she's still up there. So when you see me muting her when she get to talking, especially when she got a little alcohol in her, I ain't get ready to have her get her life in danger just for some damn views. I ain't no bottom of the barrel bitch. Okay? Thank you, Leo. So when I see she getting real chatty, especially if she been drinking a little bit, I will mute her. Because I go, okay, them right there might get her hurt. That's what real friends do. Okay? And so she has expressed some things to me, as it relates to that. Like I said, I've never in a day in my life met Black Youngster, ever met him, ever. When Black Youngster's brother was this last one, when Tamani was killed, okay, when Tamani was killed, somebody had sent me a message on Facebook, and they was like, they're saying that a young man was killed and it's Black Youngster's brother. And I said, it's probably a lie. You know, I was saying to myself, so I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to call Vanessa. When I called Vanessa, and Vanessa and them was screaming and hollering and crying, I didn't even have to ask her. I already knew. So when I got on here and went live, people were saying, Miss T, you sound like you sad. You motherfucking right. I was sad, bitch. That's my motherfucking best friend and her mama them. I'm a real one for real. Vanessa and them go outside of YouTube. I was hurt to hear them hollering and screaming because they went up there. They had gone up there to the gas station and seen his brains blown out laying there. So yes, they was hollering and screaming and crying, and I felt a certain way. I was hurt to hear her and her mama and them crying. So not one time have I ever got on here and tried to hide nothing, because I didn't even have to say nothing. So then when she was crying and she was screaming, she was telling me what was going on and what they had just seen and all of that. And she was talking about how he hustled and how hard he worked and how she had just had a conversation with him the week before. And he was saying, because I don't want to be in the midst of that. I don't want to let people pull me in the midst of that stuff with my brother and that Young Dolph stuff. And she said, I told him. She told me when she was crying on the phone that day, I told him, Tamani, if you don't want to be in that, you ain't got to be in that. That's not your beef. Okay. So when push comes to shove, when I log off of here, people that has stuck with me, and Vanessa is the only person, because her mother was strict, that my mama ever only friend that my mama ever let me spend the night with, because of how strict her mother was. She got on here and talked about how strict her mother was, and vice versa. Her mama, we always was friends down through the years, and her mother and my mama talk now 2 to 3 times a week, because we all grew up in the projects, right? We were the only 2 little girls that was the same age that lived at 1352 apartment building, Clementine apartment 2, and she was about apartment 6. Can no motherfucker tell me about my history, because I can tell it better. I ain't never tried to hide nothing. If I had met Black Youngster, you know what I would have said? Man, you know, I know Black Youngster. I hate that. I sure hate he let them folks do that. Okay? I sure hate he let them folks do that. Okay? But yeah, I know him. That's the type of chick I am. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Okay. Hold on for a second, you guys. We all grew up in the projects. My mama and Vanessa mama still talk about. Okay. The hard living, right? Hold on one second, you guys. Growing up in the projects, or getting the government cheese and walking to the office and getting the government cheese. Her and my mama still laugh about how they survived it. Hold on, y'all. Okay. They still talk about that. So I got on here and I didn't even have to say nothing. But every video I've always talked about, I've always said I don't say much about him because we have conversation outside of here. That girl love her cousin. That's her motherfucking cousin. Any bitch that thinks different is sadistic and evil and ain't family orientated, just pathetic anyway, because that's what family do. Because I got cousins that I know that slime balls and I love them because I grew up with them. Okay. The girl and Black Youngster mama first cousins. Okay. So when folks were sitting up talking about Black Youngster auntie, they was looking at, she came on my live one night and she said, "Do you remember her?" I said, "No, I don't." She said, "This is Black Youngster's auntie, his mama's sister." I said, I can't really remember her. But I do remember his mother. Because his mother was the one that would be spending the night at her house whenever I spent the night over there. And we would play together. We were children. We were under 12. Okay. And so we've had conversations. And some stuff she has shared with me, I won't even talk about on here. But I think she has got on here and spoken about how she ain't upholding nothing wrong. She ain't upholding nothing wrong. And hey, I hate all this stuff happen. I hate it for their family. I love Vanisa's mother. Okay? And so they still pray for Black Youngster. They still pray for him. Okay? They still pray for him because they know more than what I know as it relates to some stuff, right? I'm talking about as far as his whatever it is, his mental state or whatever. But I've always, tried to be as honest as I could. When people would tell me stuff and when it came directly from the source, not some made up shit from a vlogger, I would break it. And because I would do that, because I'm a Memphis vlogger, I've had people, and I've always said I want justice for Dolph. Okay? I don't choose sides. I stand on the side of what's right. I don't straddle the fence. I'm not a fence rider. I don't like fence riders. I'm not flippy floppy. Okay? I stand on the side of what's right. And I've had people to continuously come after my credibility because I am a Memphis vlogger. When folks was sending me messages, and it was just out of concern, it was like, "Miss T, Player Kobe on his page, he says that he's CMG." I said, let me tell you something. Player Cole grew up in North Memphis and Cypress. But I had conversations with them. I was like, "Hey, I don't have no issues with who they support as long as they're not disrespectful to Young Dolph on here." Ask Cypress, didn't I have a conversation with him? I was like, "Don't be disrespectful to Young Dolph on here because we support Young Dolph on my page. We support justice, right? I don't have no issues with his allegiance to Yo Gotti and Big Jook and them because they grew up with him. You think I'm going to denounce my best friend because some simp trying to destroy my credibility? No. They've been after my credibility from day one because they know I get information straight from the sources. And I had even started moving on away from talking about it because I already know he going to get justice. And it's going to be some more folks to be arrested. And I did a video the other day, and what did I say? Black Youngster know he's going to be arrested at some point because he was wrong, and I have continuously said that. Okay? I've continuously said it. And you know how I know he know? Because I look at sometimes his Instagram pages where he's talking about God and how weary he is, and from having conversations, right, with my friend. Okay? And so you ain't gonna hear me getting on here because, like I said, I'm not cutthroat and say to Yeah, to try to appease people. Yeah, I know he your cousin, but he ain't no good. And you know this, and that. To appease motherfuckers that's watching. That's my friend in real life. I know that's her damn blood relative, and she has expressed to me, I love my cousin, but I can't rock with him on certain stuff. Not on this. So I say what I have to say, and then I don't say much. And I go on because she said it all. Okay. But it appears that Straight Drop is doing everything that he can to yeah, I put it on subscribers only. He's doing everything that he can to try and get his trial taken out of Shelby County. And y'all, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because you have to reap what you sow. Hey, I always say, even when y'all hear me, I guess that, they lied like I knew Straight Drop. Remember they lied on me when they hacked me. They thought my last name was Johnson. Yeah, the hacker told me, the guy told me everything. They thought your name was Johnson. So that blogger got up on his panel, okay, that obsessed one, and said she's Straight Drop cousin. Her last name Johnson. Didn't know my last name. Ain't never been Johnson. She worked for IBAW. The police was listening to him on that. They said he digging, but he digging wrong. Okay. But I think it's a shame what is going on because, hey, my focus is on other stuff. I just don't live my life trying to dig graves for people. But I'm not going to allow these people to attack me, right, anymore. It stops this year. I don't care who they get. We're going to serve them. Whoever it is, we're going to serve them. When it's defamation of character. And then a lot of it comes from because you can't get me, as much as I've heard about all of these vloggers, and I've heard a lot. Y'all think people don't reach out to me and give me the 411 on these vloggers? If you don't think, I don't give a fuck, motherfucker, how you got my phone hacked, bitch. You gonna get wiretapping for that motherfucker. Vince and all them, bitch. You think they don't know? Okay. I don't care how you got my phone tapped. You don't know nothing about me. And so your day is going to come with all that wiretapping and hacking into people's computers. It's a sick thing when you have vloggers to hire hackers to hack into your computer and they immediately start unsubscribing your subscribers. That's a jealousy. It's an obsession. I knew that somebody was still obsessed with me the other night when I turned my camera on and went on live, and they sent all of those trolls at me. When I got off, I looked in my back studio. It said 11,000 people had been on my live. Okay. That's when you know that people are sick. But all I can do is document. Okay. Keep my thing cocked and loaded. Because like I was telling the investigators today, you got this same vlogger that is so obsessed with me that he is pulling anybody that can be pulled to try to either defame my character, come to my house, ask Torshi to come and kill me, and some more stuff. Right? And guess what? It still ain't gonna change nothing. Motherfucker, I still know more than you. I don't make up stuff. Before I make up something on the Young Dolph's case, I won't even say nothing about it. They said black youngster did. How come she didn't respond on the motherfucker? Because it was cap. Because it was cap. That's why I ain't respond on it. A lot of this shit, I've always said he was involved. But I ain't get ready to get on here and lie on him for a story. If I say, yeah, he involved, I ain't get ready to come with this grand scheme. This elaborate scheme of this, and that. No, I'm not gonna do that. He was involved. That's between him and the police. All I know is at some point he's gonna be arrested. And I think I've said that from day one. Okay? I've said that from day one. Vanessa got on here And I thought it was encouraging other Black women when she said, I got my dealership licenses. That's one of her hustles. That girl hustles. She went and got her bartender's licenses. She went and got another license. She does commercial cleaning. She a hustler for real. Okay. When she go buy them cars from the she park them right in front of her house. I think it's so unfortunate that Tamani was gunned down because he was excited that she helped to bring him into the car dealership business or whatever, the car license business or whatever, because he knew how to fix the cars, and they sold them and got money. Okay. But back to straight drop. I'm not going to even get into that because we've talked about that. I've said that it ain't nothing going to change on that. I've said that 100 times on here. So it ain't nothing going to change because the truth don't change. Okay. But straight drop is still trying to get out of Shelby County. He still want that, his attorney want that trial out of Shelby County because he already, and they got the jurors. They got her to give them the jurors. And I really believe, as I was saying in the video earlier, that he hate that she gave him that ruling because he was looking to be able to give us some kickback for denying it. Right? He said, as sweet as you want to be, then the switch flips. And I'm gonna tell you something. The reason my switch flips, because I've been respectable. I've heard so much stuff about folks. People have come into my chat trying to talk about some of the very people, y'all, that has been slandering me, and I wouldn't even let them. I'm like, no, this ain't no garbage. This ain't no garbage channel. Y'all don't do that. So yeah, it makes me mad because I don't bother people. I don't bother people. But he's consistently trying. I might be related to Auntie V. I just got my tips certification so I can bartend on the side. Yeah, she bartends. She does. She's worked at restaurants and stuff. And why somebody goes, you worked at Brevet. If they say that, I'm gonna tell her, you need to go ahead and retain that lawyer I got. Okay, because Privé ain't the only restaurant in Memphis. She's worked at restaurants where she cooked food and stuff. That girl is a hustler for real. Okay, to take care of her 4 children. The last time that she was on my panel, she expressed her disappointment in Black Youngster. And I don't want to get into talking about that because that's my friend outside of here. I make it a point not to even really talk about her family business. Okay. But the only reason why I'm saying something about this is because she said something about it. But she's always said she loves her cousin. Okay. But she's disappointed in what happened. Okay. And she wants the people that pushed him, sent him out to go down too. She said that on my panel. But she expressed her disappointment and how he allowed, and this is according to her, and she has said that even before she ever even came up on my panel. She always said that to me, how he allowed somebody to turn him against his family. And that's been some years ago. So I'm done with that. Okay. It says, but Straight Drop is doing his best, okay, to try to but it's more so his attorney. I don't know if his attorney thinks that he's going to be able to pay a prosecutor to flood, because if they move it to another county, the case, then Paul Hagerman won't be able to present the case to the jurors. It'll be another prosecutor who gonna go through 1 million pages worth of evidence. They ain't gonna give a damn, and then they hoping that he could get off because he'll probably been pay them off and they can misrepresent the case. I've said that from the very beginning. When she ruled, when he asked for, the jurors to come from the outside, right? And she ruled on it. He didn't look happy when he was giving that interview. He didn't act like that was a victory because he was hoping that she denied it so that there could be some kickback. I believe. Okay. New to you says Dropp is frustrated. You can see the wrinkles in his forehead. Yeah, he frustrated because he wasn't even smiling or nothing when she granted that. Because I'm sure his attorney had probably already said to him, when she denies it, that's going to give me the opportunity maybe to go to the appellate court or something like that, and then we could, because the plan was always to ask for a change to move the whole case out of Shelby County. Okay, but then what she did was she agreed, right? She agreed for a juror to come in from the outside and come into Shelby County, which ain't gonna make a bit of damn difference. That's why you saw Paul Hagerman say, I mean, it's no big deal. We'll just go to another county and we'll get some people. Because everybody around the areas, whether it's Covington, that's another county, whether it's Jackson, whether it's Brownsville, they ain't gonna be able to find nobody that ain't heard about the Young Dolph case. Althea says V is a straight shooter. She gonna give it to my discernment never fails me. Right, she was a straight shooter. That's the reason why when I ask her, I'll ask her a question and I'll say I'm scared you're going to. She said, well, I don't know how to tell it. I don't know how to give it without giving it all. I'll say, well, okay, well, because she's still out there in the hood. Think I'm getting ready to get my best friend messed over for some damn views? Um, 901 King Deshaun says, that's the same situation the defendant lawyer did in the Jesse Dotson case, went and got lawyers out of town. That's what they want. He wants Paul Hagerman and them, because moving it from out of the county, Paul Hagerman and all of those DAs in the Shelby County's office is familiar with the case. They know everything that's in those packets, that's in that discovery, right? So if you take it to another county, that DA is going to have to try to catch up on everything. Ain't nobody going to want to go through 1,000,000 pages. So, I mean, he might even have a report with him. So they'll misrepresent Young Dolph. They should have been sought a change of venue. They are playing from behind. Absolutely. So why do it so close to the time for the trial? Girl, when she twisted them lips, then looks to the side, she finna drop some real. I'm telling you. Carolina says, I'm surprised that the judge didn't make Govan take a drug test. I thought that he was supposed to take a drug test back in December. And they were supposed to come back and take the drug test. They just did not give the results of whatever the drug test was. I don't know if they can, but HIPAA laws prevent that or something. I don't know. They probably couldn't give the results to the public. 901 King Deshaun says, I feel that Cornelius then ran out of money. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. You guys, make sure you hit the like button. I know I made it subscribers only, but you guys make sure y'all hit the like button. Like, share, and subscribe for me. Like, share, and subscribe. What is it? It's almost 8:30. Hell, who still drops lawyers? Wow. Anyways, you guys, we're going to keep close watch of this. We're just going to wait to see, because that was the plan in the beginning, to try to get the whole case taken out of Shelby County. Okay? That was the whole plan. And yeah, that was the whole plan. Because they trying to find that's because it's hard to beat 1,000,000 pages, y'all. I was looking at another person that Straight Drop's attorney had represented. I think it was in that Holly Bobo's case. He represented one of those guys that kidnapped that girl that was in the female white that was in nursing school, and she was missing for a couple years, and come to find out they had kidnapped her and did some stuff to her, and they was finally arrested. He's now asking for a retrial. And they was sentenced maybe like a year or so ago. He's now asking for a retrial based on a technicality. So Straight Drop's lawyer is the technicality lawyer. Yep, the Holly Bobo case. So Straight Drop's lawyer is the technicality lawyer. If he can find a hole in something, if nothing else, he kick up smoke so that he can quickly get you a retrial or something, or a mistrial based on a technicality. And I think with her, he wanted the case moved out because he was initially going to ask for the whole case to be moved. And when she agreed to allow them to have jurors to come in, it killed this from out of other counties. It killed his plan, right? It killed his plan because he was really going to kick up smoke and give a lot of kickback or whatever. So that's what that is about, you guys. Ramona says, Tamara, don't forget to do what you said you would do about that vlogger. Oh, I'm not going to. I already trust me. I'm on top of everything. Nothing is getting by. Nothing is getting by because I understand what's going on. They've used her to try to team up on me. And because she slick was hating on me anyways, she doesn't have an issue with doing it. But somebody sent me a message to let me know already who was behind it, right? Because they said somebody was saying that they ain't even none of her best friends. So I guess they know more about me than I know about myself. I guess because he got that hacker. I guess he think because he got them hacking phones that he ain't gonna be touched because he sent everybody else out to do his dirty work. I don't know if she was paid to put that out there or what, but I promise you it ain't gonna be worth it in the end. Not only is karma gonna get her, something else, the law is gonna get her, because I'm not playing with these people. I ain't never in my life did nothing to that lady. As much as folks came on here, and I've been told not to talk about her, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to. If when she puts something out, y'all just go ahead and record it, because we understand how he send people out to come at me, and then they be the ones to be sitting up in court and in trouble and stuff. Okay, while he sit behind his keyboard. But just go ahead and take a video of it and just send it to me like y'all been doing, so that I can send it to my lawyer, because I'm tired of these people messing with me, right? When I've never in my life done anything to that lady. When people was coming into my chats and saying, talking about that lady, talking about she was capped, I mean, they would be dogging her out. Why you give her props? She don't, y'all, like, no, she cool. She helped me. I thought she she had sent me some information as it relates to some stuff that had happened to her, and she was giving me information that what these men had did to her, and told me who it was and what they did to her. And she'll team up with another man to try and defame me. But trust me, it all comes back around. How soon we forget. It all comes back around, and it's always, because see, everything that I've said, I could say again. YouTube don't pay a bill I got, so I ain't got to get on here and lie. If Black Youngster had bought my best friend a car lot, that would be awesome. That's her damn cousin. But she shoot straight from the hip. She let it be known what was going on. She ain't got no damn car lot. And people be capping so much. I ain't never heard Black Youngster had a car lot. I heard Black Youngster ran a chop shop. That's what I heard. That was what was out in the street early on. See, if people had their motherfucking facts right, instead of hacking phones, talking about we working on cases, you can't work on no damn case together with a nigga hacking people's phones and computers and shit. That's what that motherfucker over there doing. And he think he ain't gonna be touched because he got all these simps doing his dirty work. Folks that used to be in that clubhouse, let it be known what's going on. That he send folks out to do shit, and when they don't do it, put out folks' address and stuff, he get rid of them and lock them out the clubhouse. The police then got up in the clubhouse and seen what was going on. He running a straight coat. Okay? And when women are so easy to go up against other women, it's because they've been hating on them from the start. They never liked them. They don't like women. They want to see women in pain and defamed. Okay? But what I did was I went and retained my lawyer today. Okay? Because when I was going through last year, I ain't had time for it because my daddy was sick. My daddy left me a motherfucking bag. And I went and retained that lawyer today. See, I ain't got to get on YouTube, and I ain't bragging. I ain't got to get on here every day. Because I have other stuff going on. So it's a good thing when you can walk up in especially when I still got feelings about what they did to me last year. They're going to get all the smoke this year. And whatever investigation's going on, that little short nubby finger motherfucker got to go to jail. Because he's so obsessed with me, I just feel like he gonna have somebody to try to kill me any day. Torsia already said he asked her to kill me. Torsia wasn't lying on him. So my lawyer got to shoot fire up under MPD because he constantly pulling people because of his obsession with me to try and mess with me. Okay? So that's what we're gonna do. And I'm through with that. Because when I walked out of that lawyer's office today, he said, hey, let that go. Let them send you whatever they're going to send you, but you let it go. And I'm letting it go, y'all. So when y'all see some defamation, y'all just send it to my inbox like you've been doing. Okay? And then I'm going to let the lawyers handle it. That's what he got that. That's what he got that retainer's fee for. My pressure and stuff been down. I've been doing good. And I guess the devil said she seemed like she happy. And we can't have that. But I bet you that karma get ready to hit him in the face. I bet you it's get ready to hit him in the face. Hey, one thing for sure, when it starts, the heat starts. But you know what? My thing about it is, I've always said this. You know, when they say people send folks out to do stuff, you can't send a person out to do something that they ain't been wanting to do. Always remember that when they go like that, it's something that they've been wanted to do. They've been disliking you, because you can't make a person that was cool with you, that ain't have no, if they ain't have no issues with you, can't nobody tell them something to make them flip like that on you. That means they always had issues with you. They always did. Because when folks was telling me stuff about her, you couldn't get me to say nothing about her, because I ain't had no issues with her. Okay. And so this is the last time we're gonna talk about this on here. Y'all, we're gonna let the people that handle it. Because I'm not playing this year. 2023 was a different year. I was up under a lot of pressure and stress. Talking about cry me a river. That's his saying. Cry. Stop crying. That's his saying. So we know they working together. I ain't gonna cry. I'm gonna make it rain. Okay. And making it rain gets things moving forward and done. And maybe that'll make me feel better when I start seeing more of them in handcuffs, okay? I hope this ain't my people on here now. That's my mother on here. So my mother must be listening. Okay. And these people get bags. I hope them bags that money can pay for lawyers. Because that's what these people do on here. We this person got this amount of subscribers. We're gonna pay them to put this message out, and people don't have no integrity, right? They take the money to try and destroy somebody's credibility that ain't never did nothing to them, but it don't work out for them in the end because they end up with all types of lawsuits and shit. Because I think I've said from the beginning, instead of talking about you defaming my character when you say I'm a part of a damn I'm trying to cover up for black youngsters criminal activities and shit like that. You defaming me. You defaming my friend. Okay. But anyways, you guys, I'm gonna get off of here. Let me call my mother back because I know she was listening, and we did good today, right? And we're not gonna feed into the mess. We already know how they do it. We already know how they do it, and we're gonna be proactive, right? We're not gonna be reactive. Being proactive is making sure you all send me clips and videos. That's being proactive. Being reactive is constantly going back and forth. We're not going to do that. We're going to be proactive. Proactive gets results so that everything can be nipped in the bud, right? Because you can pull any video I got and you're going to always hear me say on that video because it's the truth, okay? Because it's the truth. I know everything, it's already working out. It's working out as we speak. I ain't never in my life met Black Youngster. I don't know him. I ain't seen his mama since I was 12. That ain't gonna change because the truth don't change. But Vanessa, I rocks with the long way. I said she got her own other little set of friends because I ain't in the street. But we've been friends so long, that ain't my friend, that's family. Folks, we always tell folks we cousins. We've been friends for so long. Every boyfriend she ever had thought I was her cousin. Because she been my best friend since I was 5. And she was 8. Okay. Anyways, you guys, I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate all of the messages that you all have been sending me, all the encouraging words. Even the men been sending me a lot of encouraging stuff. I appreciate you guys so much. I do love you guys. I appreciate that. I have been transparent with y'all. It ain't gonna change. Ain't nothing gonna change. Okay. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna stay right here and bring y'all the truth. And we're gonna be proactive. Okay. And we're going to be proactive. And that's how we're going to do it. Thank you, Grandma Ways. I love you guys. Let's say a prayer before I get on here. Most gracious Father, I come to you right now in the mighty name of Jesus. First, God, I ask that you forgive us of all of our sins, all the seen and unseen, all of the known and unknown. God, I ask that you bless everyone on this live that had good intentions. No weapon formed against any of us shall prosper. Any lying tongue that rises up against us shall be condemned. Any evil, any lies, any evil thoughts, any witchcraft, any evil thing that was sent towards us while we was on here, we reverse it and send it back to the sender, and may it manifest in their very own lives in less than 30 days. Okay. Shout out to Vanessa. Shout out to her mother. Okay. Shout out to I appreciate you all too, Steve-O. Shout out to her mother. And like I said, it ain't nothing gonna change because I've always said I grew up around his family when he had cousins that was being killed in the Lemoyne Owen Garden before he was ever even born. He never even knew him. We stayed going to funerals because they was being killed over there in LMG. Okay. And as I always said, I grew up around his great aunts. That's how I know he grew up on a church foundation because we stayed in church. I always said it. So I know he know God. So I was very disappointed. Okay. when they was telling me about how he had let somebody send him out when he could have been a talent, especially when I first started to learn about his music, because I know he came from the trenches. So that is very disappointing, especially me knowing where they came from. They came from the end of South Memphis, the most gutter part of South Memphis, the poorest part. And me knowing what his family has gone through before he was ever even born, and he get the opportunity to make it out, and he let somebody send him out to do that. Yes, it's very disappointing, because his aunties and them that I grew up around, his great aunts, they knew how to pray. Them was some praying women. That ain't gonna change. I said that from day one. The truth don't change. It ain't gonna never change, because it's the truth. Okay? But anyways, I love you guys. Let me call my mother back, okay? I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.